What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant 2. We are sitting here today with Louis J. Gomez's son's godfather.
Yes.
Your most proud credit.
I am. Louis hates me for it because he doesn't think I'm good. I'm doing good enough as a godparent. But I think I'm stepping up. He doesn't. His parents are gone. They're dead.
Yeah.
And so, like, I am in line for this, dude. Like, there's... you know what I mean? Like, usually, like, when you're a godparent,
This is a big job.
usually, like,
he
you know,
takes after his
you might
parents.
be a godfather to like a few kids. Like, it's just kind of a gesture, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it gives you something. You don't, you know,
Yeah.
if you are not married or have families, we're trying to. It's like having a dog. We're like, you can tell people this.
Yeah.
It's a gesture. It's like obviously the kid's never going to you.
Right.
Like we're never.
Yeah.
Right.
If something truly happened, we're still going somewhere else. But you know, with Louis, it's I'm there, baby. It's there's no one else.
So you'll take his kid. We're here with Nate Bargatze, by the way.
The very funny.
Huge star.
Yeah.
Massive star. The greatest normal. It was at the greatest average American.
Someone had told me the other day, they go, what is your title? The most average? I'm like, that sounds such worse.
Yeah.
It's, you know, what are you, the most average comedian? Something like that? I'm like, yeah, basically.
Huge Netflix specials, amazing. We go way back. Like this is, you were at what, like one generation ahead of me in New York.
Yeah,
Who was your crew? You, Giannis, maybe? DeRosa,
Giannis,
Big J, or?
Big J he was already there. He was probably a year above me. Jake Metzger was like a year above me.
Right.
Yeah, that's we always talk about in New York. You know, like were you in Norman?
Yeah, I think Norman was, I guess, around my time, but we didn't, I don't know, cross paths as much. Like we were over by like the Village Lantern.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were just kind of like grinding.
We were in our own bubble.
Yeah, the Lantern I was there too.
Oh yeah.
It was yeah, I always talk about that because I think people sometimes
we got to tell one story. You got to tell one story.
I want to say
you'll
one
preface
thing.
it. You'll preface
Yeah,
it.
I just want to say one thing. You are one of my favorite comics, period. So funny.
We always bring you up when it comes to like people who are clean, but you don't even know.
Yes.
yeah, that's the whole goal.
You don't even know you're just laughing at this person. They're funny. You don't realize they're clean. So
One of the GOAT clean comics ever, I think.
there you go.
All right.
There you go.
that's
I know
not-
we're building you up.
and
We're
that's-
building you up for a reason.
Having said that, nobody, and this is a compliment, I mean it, but nobody bombs better than you. It's a fucking joy to watch. If you're not, or you feel like you're not doing well even, just the lines that you'll have, the shit that you'll say is like fucking genius to me.
So there was moments of the Village Land, like we would all eat our fucking dicks to the
Oh, yeah.
It could be a very rough,
yeah.
but it could be a great room.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me that you had a set once at the Lantern, and you described it like this. You kept looking behind you to see if there was somebody else doing comedy.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I think so.
Like,
I do remember a bunch of stories from there. Because the bathroom was behind you.
the bathroom
Yes.
was behind you. Yeah.
And then people would walk on stage.
Oh, yeah.
They would walk behind you on stage, which is the confidence as an audience member. The little respect that was shown.
There's a banquette on that side. You're on stage, and some people just walk on stage and then walk behind you to go to the bathroom. Okay.
I mean, yeah, the audacity. And I remember one other time I had, so when we do these shows, you're barking. So we're out front being like, hey, we got a great conference. We're trying to get people in the show.
Begging people to come.
So if we get 3 people in there, someone's got to go up because we got to keep those 3. So we can hopefully get 4 and then have 7. And we get 7. I mean, it's like we're gonna probably tape. You know, we're gonna record that show. So it's the best show of our life. So I remember one time I'm on stage, and these 2 couples are sitting in the front row, and then these 2 girls just come on stage and take a picture with me. Not because I'm anybody, but just being like, oh, we're at this comedy, and didn't ask. Just stood up and
During the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if they thought the show started. Like I was a wax museum. Like I was a wax, you know. They just stood up and stood next to me, and they smiled and they took a picture, and they're like, oh, and then they sat back down and didn't even. I mean, there was no like, hey man, do you mind if we do this or appreciate it? Or none of that. It was like they just did it. And you're like, okay. And you just got to let it happen because you're like, who am I? You know, I don't, you know.
Yeah, we're
nobody at that
yeah,
point.
absolutely nobody. But a great, room to kind of break your break your spirit, but also give you some confidence.
That's what was so great about New York. So people always, because I always, I'm a New York comic, and that's where I learned. I was there for 8 and some years.
Yeah.
But you go up and you're in front of 3 people and 4 people and 7 people, and that's just what. And like doing that, and then that just makes you just get so much better, and then you do it. I mean, multiple times a night.
Yeah.
Not like it's like once.
Yeah.
You're in for a few years. 6 people is like your average.
You could do 3 shows for a combined total of 9 people.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
That was like a regular, and we wanted to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like, I'll go up. Like,
I don't know about
Someone
you,
drops
but
in.
I think I got so much better at crowd work because you can't just do your bits for 4 people. No. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
So you'd have to like talk to them and try to find a way to weave your bit in there. And that's the thing. I think you could it ended up, you could seem much more natural doing it.
Yeah, you had a weird trajectory though, man, because like most people come to New York to make it.
Yeah.
And you came to New York, got really good at stand-up, and then you moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then you fucking exploded.
Yeah. Well, I moved to LA for 2 years and then moved back to Tennessee. But
you know what? You were trying to you had a sitcom.
I've done that. I mean, for like 10 years. I've sold a show every year, and we've only shot 1 pilot.
Really?
But it's like, it just is what it is. It's like, what the wonderful thing about it is you can try it, and then you got your stand-up. That's why I love stand-up so much, where you can really go do these kind of things. And I mean, the first you really want to do them, but now the longer I get, you're like, I don't need this show. Like, stand-up is kind of is a much bigger thing than it ever was.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of you're like, I got my thing going, my world going. I mean, that's you got your world growing here.
Yeah.
Like you start seeing people's, where you go like, oh, I'll just, in a weird way, it's like what Sandler did. Adam Sandler's got his world. Like he did it with like in the movie thing, but it was like, it's his movie.
Yeah.
You're going because of his movie, and he makes a bunch of movies. And so it's like everybody, you just build your world, and then everybody's like, well, I like that guy. So then I'm on board with all of his
he's like my inspiration in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like the way he models, like, because he puts all of his guys that he writes the movie with in the movie as well.
Yeah.
So it's the same characters.
Yeah.
They're just kind of playing like different versions of the characters that we already saw and we love. So you don't have to really reestablish.
Yeah.
Like when I see Adam Sandler in a movie, I'm like, I know who he is more or less.
Yeah.
So you don't need to explain the backstory. It's fucking Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Right. And but yeah, they just did such a fucking great job with it. But I don't know. You had this like crazy rise. It was so weird.
Well, the special started. So I did that Comedy Central special. Then I did it. Then it started with Netflix. I did a half hour.
And now
why I moved. The big quote. I was like, it's one of my favorite quotes. I read this book, Jerry Weintraub, and he was like, he like produced like Ocean's 11, 13. Like he ended up being a big Hollywood guy. Like, and he was in New York. And he was working at he was an agent, like this is like the 50s or something, or 60s.
Yeah.
And he said in the book, he just said he moved because he knew anytime he started feeling comfortable, it was time to make a change. Mm. And so, I read that book and I read that, and I was in 3 months, we moved to LA because I knew it made so much, it hit hard. So, it was like, I was very comfortable in New York at that time. At that point, I'm passed at every club.
Yeah.
I'm not really having to like chase these spots like I used to. And so I was like, I'm very comfortable. And I knew if I stay here, I'm going to remain this comfortable, and I'm not going to put myself into a different comedy scene where I have to feel like I have to prove myself again.
Yeah.
And so then I moved to LA, and then it was like, I was in LA, and then you're like, now you're around all these people that, I don't know all that scene out there.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, now I've got to go murder in front of these people. Like, it just makes you kind of like
you gotta
grind
get sharp,
out again.
you gotta get hungry. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's very easy. You get very,
But your thing was interesting because like I had this feeling, right? I would always tell like these people when I would sit down in these meetings and execs, especially when I saw your rise, and I was like, dude, if Netflix was smart, I actually told Netflix this. I was like, you shouldn't do anything with me. You should do stuff with people like Nate. Because I bet you the majority of your subscribers like Nate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people in New York and LA, and they set the tone for what is fucking cool or whatever that bullshit is. But there's a lot of people in the middle of the country. A lot more people that are gonna fucking watch this guy. And seeing you explode was super validating. And then seeing you like get it again, and then people really find you, and then weirdly seeing like my friends on the East Coast and West Coast find you, I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
because I was wondering if you were going to cross back.
Yeah,
like you learned how to kill in New York, then you kind of explode in the middle, and people are like, finally, we have our guy. This is great. It's really nice, and not somebody that like is curated or like manufactured to satisfy us.
Yeah,
you know, like that's what LA will do a lot. They'll be like, let's turn one of these guys from California into a good old country boy.
Oh
you know?
Yeah, dude. Every show's that. They when we pitch these shows, you know, because they have like a show where it's like that one show was like these California people moved to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Well, they just go make fun of people in Nebraska.
I hate
that. Yeah.
And they're like, you're like, who are you, dude? Like, who do you think you, dude?
Yeah.
That stuff makes me.
That's my issue with
so
fucking
mad.
Oliver, and my issue with like Trevor Noah. It's like Alabama's a punchline. And it's like, you just got here.
Yeah.
The fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand where you get off. Like, even making fun of like conservatives or Democrats, I don't even care like what, like, okay, you come here, you choose a side because it kind of identifies with you a little bit more, but like, you actually really have never hung out with conservatives. If you moved here from England and you moved directly to New York, you don't know any conservatives.
Yeah.
And if you do, you know New York conservatives.
Yeah.
Which are not conservatives.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like the idea that they could go in and talk about like how greedy conservatives are. And it's like, you moved here for one reason.
Yeah.
So you can make money.
Yeah.
You didn't come here to make less money than you did in London or South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Like you came here to make money, and this is the new punching bag.
Yeah.
But don't act like you're fucking better than them.
Oh, I was just in LA from here, and it was like, I don't know, I met someone, and they're like, I said, they're like, where do you live? I go, Nashville. And they're like, oh, so you're like an anti-vaxxer. Like, and they're kind of joking, but they're not. And you go, yeah, you know what it is too? The problem is do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah.
That you're just going, you don't know me at all. You're just going because I said I'm from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And you immediately say like I'm an anti-vaxxer.
Now that being said,
the North.
But that being said, real quick, like you are an anti-vaxxer.
Dude, don't be bringing your dumb vaccines all over my arm, dude. Like, I don't like, you know. Where are these vaccines coming from, dude? I don't know who this guy is. Someone said they were walking around Walmart and like they were trying to get, because they said, I'm sure they read this somewhere. Who knows if this is even true? But they're walking around Walmart in like the South and just being like, hey, we're give you your vaccine. You can do it right now. Yeah. And then people are like saying no to it. You're like, yeah, man, dude, if I was shopping at Walmart and a guy walked up with a needle and was like, hey, man, do you mind if we just do this? I'd be like, no. Like, you're just there's no contact. I'm not in a doctor's office. You're just
some random guy named Pedro walks
I'm buying flip-flops, and then you're like,
I don't even
what's
want
that?
my glasses from Walmart. I'd be passing that section like, who the fuck is getting glasses?
So are you vaxxed or not? All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because we're going to save you some money. We're out here saving. That's what we're trying to do. We all shop online, do we not? Of course, we all shop online. And we've all seen the promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. I know that seems like an impossibility, but it is not. It is Honey. Okay? That's exactly what it does. All the work for you to save you fucking money. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online, all right? They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands, even food delivery, the entire gambit, okay? If you want to know how it works, it's basically this. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. How crazy is that? Wait a few seconds. As Honey searches for coupons, it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. That easy. All the work done. Okay? I'm telling you, I've done this. It saved me money. I tell my girl to do this. Saves her money. It's a no-brainer. Also, women love this stuff because they love the fact that they get to save money. They think that like when you spend money but you save a little, like it's not saving money. It's, you know, they think that's like saving. They're not still spending, but they are still spending, but it's less. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Point is, amazing experience. You got to go do it. It's that simple, okay? And I'll tell you exactly how you're going to do it, all right? If you don't already have Honey, you can be straight up missing out on all the free savings. So what you're going to do, and this is very simple, is you get Honey for free. Okay, that's all you have to do. Get it for free. Honey.com/flagrant. You go to honey.com/flagrant. That's join honey.com/flagrant. That's all you got to do. And you're going to be able to have Honey. You're going to be able to save all that money. You do it. You enjoy it. And let's get back to the show.
So I have a weird...
Oh, boy.
Let's go. They were right. They're 100% right about you.
No, I don't know if I would want... I always have a weird thing. I don't know if I want to say it because I don't like when people show pictures of them getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
So I don't want to ever be an influence on anybody getting one or not getting one.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I did one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying I would never tell you, but it's like, why do you need to know if I... Like, that's not...
I just want to know if that guy was racist and right. Or stereotypical and right.
Yeah, so it's like, well, then it's the opposite of everything I just said.
Yeah,
but it was like not saying.
What a piece of shit to just judge me based on how I talk and how I look.
That's why I don't want to tell them.
Yeah, I mean, you just told everybody.
If what?
I mean, I think we know.
No, you don't, because I...
Also, the way that you walked in here, I know. And I know which one it is.
See, you're doing this. You can't get that. You can't get that New York out of you.
It's Pfizer, bro.
Oh, you know,
you're a Pfizer, dude. You're a fucking Pfizer, dude.
Are you serious? That's pretty good. Because I've had one.
Oh, you just going?
I've only done one.
You just going half in?
Well,
wait, are you really Pfizer? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Nicely done.
Good. I only did because I left, and so I couldn't do the second one. And then so the plan is to do the second one when I get back. I'll be honest with you though, that first one, you want to be like, that's good, right? Like we're good.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Like
dude.
the second one, everybody's like, dude, I get so sick after the second one. You're like, why are we? How many do we got to do? Like, it's like you do wonder that. You're like, can I do? But yeah,
Mark's an anti-vaxxer. He's not doing it.
That's not true.
You are the most anti-vaxxer.
Compared to
no.
Yes, he is.
He is anti-vax.
Bro,
Alex is anti-vax, but he's black.
Al said
people
he's
don't
not
get the
getting
vaccine.
it, and he's forging documents.
He said he was going to forge the documents using mine. I'm going to give him my vax card.
I'm just reluctant, and I'm going to get
it
when it's inconvenient.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason I got it is because my girl signed me up. We came down here with antibodies, and we were like, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, everybody here got corona.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's the vaccine.
That's the vaccine, yeah.
You get it, and then that's the vaccine. But do you feel like you can't like say these things? You feel like it will piss off your audience or some shit?
No, not make them mad. I don't, the audacity of like when people like either have whatever platform makes me furious.
What?
If someone says they have a platform.
Dude,
they gotta talk to
Nateland is a platform, dude.
But I know, but I don't use it for a platform.
That's
I use
bullshit,
it for...
dude. I watched you talk about Teddy Roosevelt and you know...
We're talking about nothing, dude. We're just making dumb jokes. But I'm saying I don't want to be a platform
propping up these conservative presidents, bro.
Was Teddy Roosevelt conservative? I don't even know.
I have no clue. Actually, he was Democrat. Like, taxed the fuck out of people.
I think everybody would. I don't know anything about history. But it's the idea of when everybody says they're you know, it's like, well, you got a platform, you got to use it. You're like, how about you don't have to use it?
Yeah.
I don't have to use my platform. I didn't go to college, dude. I barely met at high school. You don't need anything from me. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you should never listen to me.
Right.
And these celebrities, like, when they think they have to,
it drives me
infuriating.
Tell someone, you're like,
don't get me started.
Do you know how hard it is?
You're an anti-platformer.
I'm an anti-platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly, that's what the podcast was started. We talk about, we're just trying to be funny.
It's great.
And it's like,
it's super funny.
It's in my stand-up.
And we love Weber, by the way.
Huh?
Weber?
Oh, Aaron Weber.
Aaron
Yeah, he's great. He opened for us in Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just super funny.
It's
Who's the other guy?
Brian Bates. He came out with me for a lot, and everybody calls him like some reason the listeners started calling him names. They call him like Bacon Bits and Breakfast, and they won't call him by his.
What did I
regular
say?
name.
He has spokesperson energy.
Yeah.
He could definitely be a spokesperson.
Yeah.
For breakfast.
For breakfast,
Just the meal.
the general
meal.
I mean, that's like that's
Bates
a
has got
big.
it.
You know, that was Teddy Roosevelt. Was the teddy bears named after him, which we talked about? Which how crazy is that? That's all you know a teddy bear is. There's not like, I don't even know the name before that.
Right.
And so they made the teddy bear, and that's in honor of him.
But he wasn't even
wasn't cuddly.
That motherfucker. He was a badass
Big
motherfucker.
stick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, and it wasn't my decision.
Right.
But you act like I was a part of this choice. Like I got to defend it.
It's new information to us, though. It's chopped.
It is that's what they did in honor of him.
Right.
But I'm saying it's teddy bears, like that's how you describe that thing.
Yeah.
So like that's about the highest honor you could get.
To have a stuffed
You can
animal
go any
named after
store.
you.
Yeah, you can go any store and you go, I would like you have any teddy bears.
Yeah.
And it's not a specific thing. It's in general. Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Now you said you don't know anything about anything.
No.
What do you know the most about?
A lot of things.
Okay.
And no. I don't know.
Sports fan?
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. Golf, like that kind of thing.
You were getting into those like celebrity golf tournaments?
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah. I'm getting into a little bit more now.
But now it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think it was like you were in early and I was like, oh shit. Like,
who is that guy celebrity?
Yeah, that's when I thought that you really had it popping. You were like doing these, like, you were golfing with like famous people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, is Nate blowing the fuck up?
Yeah. Yeah, it started when you're when you're the celebrity in a group at the beginning. You're a big disappointment to that group you play with. Like they come up, dude, and they're like, "What's up?
Who we got?
Yeah,
we got Jimmy Johnson.
What's up, Petty?
Yeah.
They hand you the clubs.
Yeah.
Wait, has that really happened?
You gotta go put on a show. Like they're like, "What do you do?" Oh, no. I'm like, "I'm a comedian," and you gotta bring.
Oh, you gotta be fucking funny, bro.
You gotta be so in your. But you wanted them. You're like, well, I don't know. Why don't y'all pay a little more money and you get up a little? Like this is. I'm this value.
What you pay for. If you donated more to this fucking charity, then you'd be doing it with Papa John's.
Yeah. Instead, you got this. You got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the beginning you are like, it's embarrassing, like because you got to go in.
Was it at all like? I don't even know what the word that I'm looking for right now, but like, you know how we coastal elites, like New Yorkers, and I'm guilty of this. Like we think everything's the fucking best, this, that, the other, and then the second Corona and the pandemic happened, all these like liberal states shut the fuck down. The conservative states stay open. Everybody's partying, and then immediately, all these like liberals that got a little bit of money fled, ourselves included. Right? Was it a little bit like nice to see, or was there part of you like, oh, now you want us? Like we're funny, we're a joke before.
Yeah.
But now when you want to go out for a slice of pizza.
Yeah. You want, yeah. It was, I mean, Nashville, we have so many people moving there from California.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're coming. It's insane. There's like 100 people a day move to Nashville. And then it's a lot of people from California. The wonderful thing is I think maybe a lot of them going to Austin.
Yes.
And so like
that's better.
That's
ruin
better.
Austin.
Well, I think you go, our goal in Nashville is you're like the ones we don't want go to Austin, and then the other ones come to
I heard they just made Jews illegal in Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, then we got to move there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see it in the paper. It was in the newspaper.
It was in,
No, I don't. I never met a Jewish person, so is that was a stereotype.
Here's your first one.
I've met a bunch.
You've met enough. You've met your fair share.
My buddy Sven Wexler, I started comedy with. We moved to New York. But it's funny, that was always a stereotype where they said Southern people hate Jews, and you're like, I grew up
in Texas. I didn't know I knew Jews existed, but
I didn't know this. I didn't know that was a stereotype.
I couldn't the last name.
It's like because white supremacy, or whatever, but like they hate, and you're like, I don't know, dude. You're like, I'm just not around any Jewish people. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I thought
there just were none there.
Coastal elites.
Akaash is from Texas, by the way.
And they treat white Southerners the way they think you treat black people. Like they look at you and they're like, look at this fucking uneducated, ignorant, lazy, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they think you treat black people.
You know, it's funny. I don't mind doing it, but like if people from outside of America do it, I'm like, yo, slow down. Like those are our guys to make fun of.
They're your cheddar Bob.
Exactly. It's like you can make fun of your little brother, but nobody else can make fun of your little brother. But I wonder, I don't know. You guys don't have that relationship with us. You guys just kind of like hate us up north, huh?
It's tough because, when I lived there, so like Giannis, right?
We embraced you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
We loved you.
I know. Well, I love New York, and all my friends are from New York, and but when like Giannis was a perfect example. So when me and Giannis moved there, Giannis would always tell me I have no culture, right? And I was like, dude, you've never lived 3 blocks from your mom. Like I was in New York. Like I've changed my whole world. And like just because you're like, you got a guy from Nigeria and then Jewish people and whatever, and everybody from all these, you think like you get the world. They live near you. And then I had an old joke about it where I said the melting pot thing, where it's like New York's is a big melting pot, but just a bunch of pots don't live next to their own kinds of pots. I mean, you're not mixed in at all, dude. You have a Chinatown that you're like, don't come into this area, Little Italy, and like You're like, y'all hate each other. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's what. So moving to New York was
It's a melting pot until like another ethnic group encroaches on your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Then we're not really a stew at all. Right? Ask the Italians in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
How much of a stew they are.
Yeah. It's the same dude.
It's a big issue.
It's all the same dude. You're like, yeah.
So
So no, New York is I don't know. It's like you would feel that though. It's like everybody just thinks you're like, what are you like? Everybody prejudges you. I remember a guy saying it once where they were like, it was like this gay dude. He was like, oh, he goes, Nate's from the South or something. They're like, oh, he's like a Republican that hates gays and stuff. And you're like, you're doing what you think I do to you, and I don't. Yeah. And you're doing it to me. And that's what's so crazy. And then they tell you that to your face. Like that person that said I was an anti-vaxxer. There's some seriousness to what she said when she said that. And you want to go, I didn't walk in here and think you're one thing. Yeah. I'm meeting you and just enjoying talking to you. Yeah. But you immediately say that. And you say it to my face. Yeah. And like don't even care. Yeah. That's crazy. Where you're like, and then you're like, why do you hate us? You're like, I don't know, maybe that. Maybe every
you think I'm stupid, racist,
if I get an audition for, they send you a movie audition to play a Southern guy, and you're like, you got to be, you're just the most. I remember getting movie auditions, and they're being like, you're going to have to yell the N-word. You're like, why would I do that? And they're like, oh, that's because what y'all do. Like, you think that's what we do, dude? Like, and they think that is you're just a movie, and that's the best part you think I can be is just this guy. You're like, and you just don't do them.
What was the movie? Dude, you in 12 Years a Slave would be hysterical.
Yeah. That is what y'all did.
What?
In 12 Years a Slave, it would be accurate. That'd be...
Yeah, there'd be a lot of yelling. Yeah. A lot of N-word yelling.
Yeah, but I mean, I grew up I was born in 79, so I don't know what to tell you. Like,
N-word stopped in 78.
We weren't doing it. Yeah. They weren't, it wasn't happening. I mean, they talk about that a lot with like, they think like, white supremacy. You're like, dude, I've been in the South my whole life. I've never met a Klan member. Like I've never been around one. Like I don't know. Yeah. I'm not saying that they don't exist. You got to say that all the time, but like they're not around me. It's not like I'm just in the car with them.
Not as prevalent as people make it out to be. I never.
They make it like they're just. I mean, like they're running the town. Yeah. And you're like, I don't know, dude. We just grew up like everybody else grew up.
And why do you think that is? You think it's just like movies and shit?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean,
when you were growing up watching TV and movies, was it annoying? Were you like, why does everybody talk like me stupid? Or you don't even realize it until you become an adult? I don't think you realize
it. I didn't realize it until I moved to Chicago. Like it was because when you're in Nashville, you're just around everybody went to church. Yeah, everybody went to like it was. Everybody was just. There was like if you were a Christian growing up, I mean everybody was. I mean you went to church. Like you would ask people where they go to church over like where they go to high school. Like that would be a very you're like, well, what church you go to? Then they would just tell you like, oh yeah, I know someone. I have a buddy that goes to that church. Like it was just everybody went to church, and then you moved to Chicago. When I moved to Chicago, I remember they were angry that like I grew up going to church, and I was like, okay, and because then they think Christians like Southern Baptist. They think, oh, this is crazy thing. You're like, dude, it's just a regular church. Like we weren't, but to their head, they're like, y'all are holding snakes. You're like doing all this kind of stuff. And you're like, we're not doing any of this stuff. Like and you got to defend it. And they're like, no, that's what y'all do. I mean, people are so judgmental. Yeah. And they judge so hard. Yeah. And, bad stuff exists, but you're like, I don't, there's a lot of regular people that are just minding their own business.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because some of y'all are losing your hair, and that is a fucking choice, and you need to make the choice right now to just stop it. I mean that sincerely. Most of y'all know that I thought that I was getting a little baldito back in the day. We're talking about a decade ago, and I immediately got on it and stopped it, and that's what you can do right now. It's hard to reverse, but you can stop it in its tracks, and that's all you need to do. If you think that you're starting to thin out just a little bit, get ahead of it, bro. I'm telling you, it's that simple. Ladies, if you feel like your man is losing his hair, you can find a really nice way to tell him. You find a really nice way to tell him. I don't know what that way is. It's going to hurt his ego, but nothing's going to hurt his ego more than a bald fucking head. So you might as well get it out of the way. Tear the Band-Aid off. The man needs some keeps. Simple as that. That's what I do it with. That's what we all do it with. That's what we support it with. Akaash on the keeps right now. Yeah. So this is what you're going to do. I'm telling you, 2 out of 3. Men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers them both. Keeps. Simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultations and medications delivered straight to your door every 3 months so you don't have to leave your home. Isn't that perfect? Low cost treatments start at just $10 per month to keep your fucking hair. Are you absolutely kidding me? There's no better deal on the planet. Discreet packaging. And you know what? It shouldn't be discreet. You should be proud that you're keeping your fucking hair. You should be proud that you have, you know what you should be discreet about? A bald fucking head. Cover that shit with a hat. That's what you're discreet about. But they do have discreet packaging and proven results. More 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. Remember, prevention is the key. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/flagrant to receive your first month of treatment for absolutely free. That's keeps.com/flagrant to get your first month free. Go there right now. Let's get back to the show. What were you shocked by? Like when you came to New York and LA? Well, probably not as much LA, right? Because you've already experienced it. But like New York specifically, what were you shocked by? Were you expecting it to be way different and then it just wasn't?
I mean, it was overwhelming. I'm trying to think of what specifically. I remember coming out of the subway once and being just very confused and like it's very, very overwhelming. It's so many people.
Yeah.
I guess like everybody, I didn't think they were as mean as everybody said they were.
Yeah.
I thought New York wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Like, you always hear that everybody's just super rude there, and you're like, once you're there,
I resent that.
Yeah, once you're
we're
there,
nice
you're like,
people. I think it's the people that
nice.
move to New York that feel like they have to live up to the stereotype of a movie. They start acting mean towards one another. But like actual New Yorkers are usually pretty helpful.
I think there's just an impatience. Like they just need
too.
to get where the fuck they need to get. And if you're in the way of that, you're a problem.
Yeah.
But it's
walking slow, you're a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like it's not going to be a long drawn thing. Like you're not going to fight about it. Like they yell at you and then they forget about you. And like so it's like you kind of learn to not take things personal.
Yeah.
And then because you're like it's like dude, they want to just go and you're like, oh yeah, sorry man, and then they just roll by you.
When you were like because you probably came in New York and you were at the tail end of like the Cellar's heyday, right? Like the old guard at the Cellar, Patrice.
Oh, that was 04.
But when you actually started hanging around those guys,
yeah.
Like, did you befriend? Like, were you close with Patrice at all?
Yeah, yeah. I used to sit in his car at Boston Comedy Club, and so he wouldn't get
while
a ticket.
He was on stage.
Yeah, because you couldn't park, right in front of Boston.
Yeah, I remember.
And so I would go.
It was
in
the
his car.
Comedy Village when I was.
Yeah, yeah.
It flipped over. Okay, so you were there when it was still the Boston.
Yeah, I barked there.
That was my first barking thing in New York too.
Yeah.
Okay. So Patrice, was he ruthless to you?
He was. So which I've talked about it, but like. I learned quick to kind of just whatever he would think I am, I would just go with it. So like he would be like, y'all not believe in dinosaurs? And I'd be like, nah, yeah, I don't. Yeah. Like I would just say whatever he wanted. I've never thought about that ever in my life. Like I've learned about dinosaurs, but the fact that he thinks we didn't, I was like, I was like, no, we don't believe in dinosaurs. I would just go with it.
Right.
And so he was like very nice. I mean, we would go to his house for,
the barbecue. Yeah.
And like my wife would go over there, and then he was very nice to my wife, and he because she would always like I don't know like help clean up after or something. He like loved that.
Yeah.
And so Patrice was always very, very cool. I met him. I mean, until the last day, every time I talked to him, I was like, "Hey, Nate, I'm friends with Big J." I would say that, and like at the end, he'd be like, "Yeah, dude, I know who you are," but you're like, "I don't know," He was the best I ever saw. But I was at their
same.
He was at Burr and his HBO One Night Stand taping.
You were there?
I was there.
Holy fuck!
And so
okay, let me just set this up to everybody listening. There is like an unbelievable bit that if you don't watch the whole thing, I don't think it resonates the same way. The whole thing with the pussy beam. Mm-hmm. It was like, what would you do if you got in a horrible car accident where you lost your pussy?
Yeah.
Do you know that bit?
Yeah.
If you just see that within like the clip online, it doesn't get the full effect because there's like 20 minutes of buildup where the audience is kind of fighting back and forth and they're laughing, but at the same time, some of the women in the audience are giving him some pushback and they're looking at him like he's this sexist and you're objectifying us and all that. When he dropped that
HBO also, for the record, used to do half-hour comedy specials, and apparently they filmed Burr and Patrice the same night.
Yeah, I was.
So
there. Yeah.
what? So
they did.
What was the reaction? Have you heard that bit before? Or
I don't think. I don't know if I even remember. I won't remember that specific.
Okay.
But I remember them warming up to it, running their set, right?
Yeah.
And they were running at the Boston. I remember one night I timed Patrice's set because it was like they had to do a half hour.
Yeah.
And so when he got done, I was like, "Hey, you did like 36 minutes," and I remember him being like, "All right," and then walked away from me. And this is like. Because
you did it as a favor for he didn't ask you?
No, he didn't ask. no, not at all, dude. Like this was like young comic, trying
eager,
to.
Just
I
eager.
think I'm supposed to do. I think at that time, it's called a half hour, so you have to do 30 exactly. I have no concept of editing or. Maybe you gotta do 29 minutes, maybe do 38 minutes, whatever the concept, it doesn't really matter. And I'm like, so I tell him, thinking I'm helping him, and he's, I think he was like, all right, man. It did not matter at all. Yeah. And so the funny thing I went to one taping. So the first tape, they did two tapings. The first taping, Burr went first, Patrice went second. The second taping, they would have flipped.
Yeah.
So I was at the Burr first, Patrice.
Yeah. So
what I remember the most about it was Burr's coming out. And so when Bert went up, I mean, dude, I remember in that audience, this is when he's doing the Harlem, it's hard to breathe. The higher you go in Harlem, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's you get a white guy gets up there 120th Street, you're like, you guys have to breathe up here. That. So
the shoes joke, the dirty sneakers, something like that.
Yeah. I remember Burr murdering so hard. And I remember the audience, it was just, they didn't know what they just saw. He was so good that you could tell that they were like, yeah, who was that again? Because Bert wasn't known. He was people in comedy knew him, but he wasn't, I went to Caroline's to watch him and they closed the curtain at Caroline's. Yeah. He wasn't selling out. And they just, he murdered so hard. And then I think Patrice actually after him, it took a minute.
Had a tough time following him.
Yeah, and I always say you don't really have to, it's not like Patrice is not good enough to follow him, but it's just the room has to switch. The room has to be, and Burr murdered, and Patrice probably did it to Burr when they flipped. Yeah. But I just remember because Burr I think was the one that kind of Patrice didn't really go crazy after that. Yeah. His elf in the room is what really was the big one.
That.
We were at that.
Oh yeah,
we went to that.
That was unreal. But Burr's Burr to me he did that, and then the O&A thing happened right after that. I believe, and then so then it was like, all right, Burr's gone, and then we go to Caroline's, and that's when you're like, hey, can we go watch? And they're like, no, you can't go in, no room, and you're like,
It is kind of crazy, and I guess people listening right now, you're probably looking at most specials and assuming everybody there is a fan. But back in the day, before you were popular, you did a special when you were kind of unknown.
Oh, they
give out tickets for free.
They give out tickets for free, and they pay them.
Yeah.
Wow.
All the Comedy Central specials,
half
hour, or what was it called?
Even the
premium
hours,
blend or something like that. Oh yeah, even the hours.
Sometimes even hours. You can't sell a theater out.
Yeah.
It's so it's they're not. It's not like now.
Now it's you don't get a special unless you can sell out. That theater.
Yeah.
They just happen to be taping your sold out show. That's what the special is.
Yeah.
That's the best part is now you can kind of go all right, I'll go to that market anyway, and you sell tickets, and you're like, let's just film this.
Yeah.
And then so you pick where you want to film, which is it's much different. You're in front of your crowd, and but then people they don't know why they're there.
When you film, do you like being fish out of water for a special, for something you're taping? Do you like being a little bit of a fish out of water to that audience? They know who you are, they're familiar with you, but at the same time, they like the fact that you're a little bit different?
Yeah.
Or do you like being home team? For a special specifically, not just for fun.
Well, the greatest, one thing Seinfeld said a long time ago, they said, what the only thing that you miss, before being famous?
Yeah.
And
winning them over?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I can still win. I can go to a comedy club, and if it's not my audience, I'm not saying everybody just knows who. Comics, we're not. It's not like it's, David Spade goes up. You're like, everybody knows who David Spade is.
Yeah.
But with us, it's our audience knows, but I can easily go to a lot of people, and they have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
But so it's when you do a special, it's going to be kind of tougher now to do it in front of a crowd that doesn't know you.
Yeah.
you want it to. I think I just would want my audience there now, just because we're there. Yeah. But it's like it depends on where you film it. Like I don't, the last one I filmed in L.A. and this next one, when we think about like, I don't know where I would want, possibly San Francisco or like I like filming in maybe a different place. Yeah, that's from where I'm at. Just to be like you hear this. It's unique what they're hearing. Yeah. If you're a San Francisco comic and you got a comic going up there doing like some super progressive, like woke stuff, they've probably heard versions of those ideas throughout their life. Yeah. Right? Maybe throughout their week, right? Yeah. They've heard that take on the riots or whatever it is. Yeah. But like when you go tape in a place where they don't know your perspective, your voice is interesting. Yeah. What you're saying, your opinions are interesting. They know who you are. They're ready for what you have to do, but it's still refreshing. It's like, yo, fine. Yes, this guy's different. Yeah, he's different. And so maybe you don't win them over, but you still get to be unique. Yeah. To them. I hate the winning them over. I'm so glad that's done. You didn't like that? That's stupid. It was my least favorite part of comedy. The first 3 minutes of comedy sucked. Yeah. Hated it. Yeah. Because I have to like explain it's like, I would always look at some comics that they're like a big fat comic could just be like, hey, I'm not going to fall over on you. They'd like do some fucking hacky. Whatever. Move the mic stand so you can see me. Exactly. Like, but what it did is essentially calmed everybody and got everybody on the same page. Like I understand the magic trick that they're doing, right? But when I would go up there, it's like, I'm like, I don't want to I know what you're thinking. Yeah. Like, I don't care about that. Yeah. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about. Unfortunately, I have to like, you don't know am I Jewish? Am I fucking Italian? Like nobody understands like what I am. I use some like hip hop vernacular. So like there's all this confusion amongst the strangers. So I just have to start out with a really funny fucking joke. Yeah. And then everybody goes, okay, whatever he is, that's fine.
Yeah, you're handcuffed by your lack of uniqueness in the sense that y'all are just straight white dudes. Like there's like use Patrice, the elephant in the room when I walk out there. Yeah. Well, now it's more normal, but before I don't see a lot of comics that look like this guy. Yeah. So if I don't address it, they're gonna be like, hey, buddy. Yeah. It's almost like a guy, like when I would do shows in Harlem, I just wouldn't talk about it or the Bronx or whatever, and I'd bomb. And then I realized it's like, they don't see people like me outside of the bodega. Yeah. So it's almost like a guy in a wheelchair going up and just doing jokes. You're gonna be like, not acknowledging this is not what's interesting to me about you.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like a gift and a curse, right?
Yeah. But the gift, to finish real quick, to your point, the gift is I know exactly what to talk about when I get up there. Yeah. Your curse is, what the fuck do you talk about when you get up there?
What do you think I am?
Yeah. You got an accent at least, so something.
But the guy's got an Italian name, Nate Bargatze. Yeah. And then he goes up there, starts speaking in a southern accent. There's going to be a little confusion. Yeah. I'm sure you had bits about that in the beginning. Yeah. You had a funny joke about your Italian family.
I'm an Italian family. Yeah. It was.
Do you remember all your old?
No.
It was something about like he just stayed there or something.
Yeah, it was like
I remember this bit.
Something. Yeah, I'm blanking on now. Bart. Yeah, we're Italian and something I don't know.
Anyway, but like I would think about that. Like there were these like a gay comic that doesn't present as super gay. Yeah, that dude's got to come out every time. Like the hardest thing in his life probably was coming out. Oh yeah, and every time he go, hi guys, I'm gay. And then you got a few dudes in the audience.
He hears his parents' reaction every time. Every time. He has to relive it.
So it's like, I understand how that's tough, but at the same time, and I wonder if like, I always wonder that like with gay dudes in life, if they lean into the femininity or whatever that word is of homosexual. Yeah, it's like, I don't got to explain to you what I am. Yeah. Like I'm gay.
So you do got to learn. So I do think the benefit I do have is the Southern accent. So I mean, I was always.
You didn't change your shit at all. Some people moved to New York and all of a sudden they started talking like us. Yeah. And your accent got stronger.
It was worse. Yeah.
Like when I first met you, you were just speaking like neutral. Yeah. By the end,
it was getting real.
You were Nate Bargatze.
Well, I always took it. That's another thing I hated. I hated when like Southern people moved to New York and then they would trash the South. Like I like someone to be proud. I don't care where you're from, but I want you to love where you're from. That's all I want. I don't care where in the world you're from. Just be way on board with you. Like love your home. When people moved and then they started just trashing the South, being like, right, they're a bunch of. You're like, yo, dude, that's your family. Like you're embarrassing. How about you go up there and tell them like, no, we're good. Like we're not this.
Prince Harry. That's what's annoying about it.
Yeah.
Rep your shit.
Why you be happy about it?
Be happy, bro. You made millions of dollars doing nothing, dog.
Yeah. You know, they don't, do they do anything? I thought they like ran the country.
No, bro.
No,
Dude, I thought they were like in charge of like, the traffic lights and stuff. Like they're like, and then I just found out they're like, it's like,
turn them green now. Okay, green.
yeah. But they're like the Kardashians, right? Like or something.
Yes.
Yeah, the Royal Kardashians.
Yeah.
Is that crazy, dude?
And people worship them.
Yeah. Oh, my
like-
mom is like, it's if your moms are way on board with everything that they do. My mom has watched every like wedding, funeral. I mean, hours and hours of it.
Yeah.
Mom, it's like a.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I think it's a soap opera, I guess, and like I like it for that reason. I like that my mom likes it, and I like that that's like it's pretty cool, and like I think his brother and Kate Middleton or whatever, seems very nice, and like seems like I don't know. I like the idea of it. The Queen's been alive forever, dude. Like that's crazy. It's funny that she's the Queen, and then you're like, does she run anything? You're like, no, we don't let her do much. Like. And you're like, all right, should there be another, like, who's in charge of it?
They don't have anybody.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they've never been in charge of anything.
I think back in the day.
No, back in the day before they had like a parliament and all that kind of shit, they did it. But they kind of just kept him around. I think they keep him around because no one would go to England if it wasn't for that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like the weather sucks, the food sucks, the people are not the best looking, right? It's like all the reasons why you travel, they don't have. And so if you don't have a castle or two, or the palace, or that clock tower, or whatever, it's like that's the first thing I went to when I was there.
Yeah.
I got to see the palace. Why do I have to see the palace? Because I guess it's royalty.
Yeah.
That's their Empire State Building.
Yeah.
That's their like Broadway, whatever. Like, I always think about like why do we go places? Like COVID, everyone went there because it was open. Mm-hmm. Open was enough. Yeah. Like when we went to Nashville, but then Nashville has like a party vibe. Don't get me wrong, I know there's some elitism there, but the party vibe in Nashville, like you could just go to those bars down on Broadway and it doesn't have that same thing like in New York or LA. Like there's a club and the rope, you can't get in. It's just like jam as many fucking people in. Yeah. Maybe Kid Rock will show up and he'll play a few songs and it's just fun. Yeah. And that's nice when you're going on vacation. You don't have to worry about getting rejected from the club. Like
you don't have to plan it. You're just like, we go walk around. Like, yeah, it's great. It is great. Nashville's very open in that kind of thing where you're not like, you don't, that list kind of, that stuff's exhausting. It's exhausting, but Southern culture does have that. You guys do. There is a bouginess.
Whoa,
like money.
Whoa.
There's a bouginess, bro.
Don't do that.
There's a bouginess, man. You don't think the golf club got a little couple requirements?
Oh yeah.
Those aren't Southerners. That's rich white people. That's just that culture.
Oh, is that
golf club culture? That's not like New York golf clubs aren't going to be super accepting and like.
Yeah, I think they just started.
Yeah.
Like I think they just started, and they were kind of like forced to.
Yeah.
Even out in Long Island.
That's going to take a little bit longer to get to the South. Augusta is going to be a little slower, but like, I don't look at that as Southern culture. I'm sure there's some pretension, but we try not to put on airs.
It depends on where you join. I mean, some country clubs are the one I'm at. Like, it's some are more blue collarish. Like, really, it's really just you're paying.
Sure thing.
Yeah, the blue collar.
No, the one I'm at is.
Well, the one
everybody got Netflix specials there.
No, the one I'm at is not. It's a straight up. It's like a lot of real golfers are there. Like so, it's people that are serious about golf. So there's the vibe of it is Vanderbilt. Their team plays there. Yeah. And so like the vibe of it there is like dudes are there to work, like to play and get good.
Explain something to me because you've been the biggest Vanderbilt fan.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't go to Vanderbilt.
No.
I know you've worked that out in your head.
Yeah.
Go. We don't get that in New York, like because we don't have college sports, right? So we never.
I got on board with Rutgers for a little bit when they did good. I was there.
We did?
Yeah. Well, Rutgers was having like a really good year, and then I remember everybody's like, "Oh, everybody's cheering for Rutgers," and you're like, "Y'all just heard about Rutgers."
New Yorkers were caring about a New Jersey.
Rutgers had a great season when I was there, and so it was like kind of like.
06,
their
07,
games are
07, 08.
their games were kind of on TV more. So then everybody's like, "Oh, this is here." Ray Rice, and then and so people were kind of excited about that. They don't care, but
none of my boys. Maybe it's different because I grew up in like Manhattan or whatever. But we never discussed college sports at all. Yeah. Right? I didn't even know college sports. I knew it was popular because I like heard about March Madness and these things. We didn't watch March Madness.
Yeah,
I know this sounds probably crazy. Never once growing up did me and my boys go, "Yo, we want to watch the games this Saturday." with March Madness. Yeah. Didn't watch a single college basketball game until I was in college.
Yeah.
And our school made the tournament the year before. I went to UCSB. And then I saw what the fuck this thing was. So break down the leap between I don't go to the school, but I love the school. I identify with the school. How does that work?
So it's not just the South, but it's like also the Midwest, like Ohio State.
All over the country they do it. It's just, I feel like it's just New York that they don't do it.
It's a lot of us didn't have pro sports. So Nashville didn't have pro teams. We didn't have the Titans. So everybody's like really into college because that's all you can really root for.
Alabama? What pro team is in Alabama?
So it's if there's no pro team, you just love the sport and that's the only opportunity to see it
so
live.
It's like, and it's that town, it's more of about the town and stuff like that. So we didn't have the Titans growing up. So a lot of my friends were University of Tennessee fans. But I was a Vanderbilt fan, which was in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt's was notoriously struggling a lot back then. And so no one was a fan of Vanderbilt then. But I always think it's good to be a fan of like a team that struggles. Like it builds character. Like you have to, you don't just get handed. You're not the Yankee. I remember LeBron. Perfect
Yankee
90s.
Hate, bro. The
LeBron was like
LeBron
was like a perfect kid, like for his age that he grew up in. He listed his favorite teams, and it was the Cowboys, Yankees, and maybe the Bulls or something. You're oh, was it? Was that hard struggle of just all of those teams won?
Yeah, didn't he have enough struggle in his life?
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted some wins.
No, that definitely didn't work out for LeBron.
But it's like that. But I'm saying there was a big generation of that where people were fans of teams that were there was they don't even know what it was like to lose. That's like if you're a Patriots fan or Red Sox, but before they all started winning, if you a long time ago, you struggled, dude.
Yeah.
And then if you're a kid, you're oh, I don't know, we've never not won. That's all we've ever dealt with.
If you're a Boston sports fan that's our age, you don't know not winning.
Oh yeah.
You remember a few years because the Celtics weren't good in the 90s. Patriots were all a joke. Yeah. And then the Red Sox never were cursed.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dallas. So the first 3 years I started watching football, or 4 years, we won 3 Super Bowls. So I was like, oh, this is what it is. And then now I'm like, man, fuck, I would appreciate that if it happened now.
Yeah.
So I do think that's true. Also, one thing about college is culturally, it's a part of the South. It's almost like I remember being like, I guess I got to root for a college team. I just what you do, and then I'll try to go to that college.
Yeah,
and then when I didn't go there, I gave up. But it's just like sports is so central to life, football in particular.
Yeah,
you gotta find a team.
That's funny. We love
everywhere.
These colleges that would never let us in.
Yeah, I don't get it.
We just care about the sports, man.
You ride your whole life for this school. You buy the merch.
Oh yeah,
and then all of a sudden you're like, I'd like to go and continue my education there, and then they go, you're not good enough. That's insane. Yeah. And how do you still root?
Well, there's not a college in America that would have let me in. So it's I mean, what am I, I went to a community college and then for a year, no credits, 1 year. And then I did Western Kentucky for a semester. Again, 0 credits, I failed bowling. And I'm actually a pretty good bowler. But once they made me keep the score on they're like, you got to write the score down. You're like, I don't know how to do that, dude. That's why they all have the screens. They keep it for you. Yeah. And the guy's like, no, you got to learn how to do it. And I'm like, I don't care. And then that was it. I didn't learn. But that was, so I could never get in these colleges anyway. But you don't have any, you just want to root for something. We didn't have baseball teams. The closest was the Braves. For baseball. So
that's because they were always on TNT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only 2 hours from Nashville.
Or TBS. Yeah, it's real close.
Yeah.
A lot of people be Cubs fans because they were on WGN.
Yeah.
And so what you could see, that's why the Cowboys, they were always on TV, so everybody became a big fan of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You like these college teams. The older you get, though, the more it changes because it's crazy because at first you're like, these kids are all older than you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, become older.
Then you're like, dude, I mean, I could have that kid. And it's weird to be, so I love them, but you learn to kind of back off to be like, I can't
you can't admire
mad at an 18-year-old. How young 18 is? Yeah. You're like, and I'm furious at this kid. Yeah. I used to follow him on Twitter. If someone was thinking about going to Vanderbilt, I'd follow him on Twitter. And then when they didn't, I would unfollow them.
17.
He's a 17-year-old kid. And you're
follow
like,
is weird enough, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
It's inappropriate a little bit.
It's a little.
So you're recruiting.
I'm trying to recruit them to go. Look, if we had some crazy kid coming to Vanderbilt, I would definitely follow him. I still follow. I know a lot of the golfers now because they're at that thing, and I'll follow them.
Yeah.
But then some of them I know. But it's like some of them times, you follow them, and then you're like, it's an 18-year-old dude. Like, I don't, whatever they're posting, you're like, I don't care about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. You're following 18.
Y'all were into the pros though. Like I remember, when I moved to Chicago first, because that's where I was first at. I was there for like the Bartman. Like
shit!
I was there when all that I was waiting tables, and you know what's crazy? So if you watch that Bartman ESPN documentary,
just to clarify what it is for everybody.
What
do you want it?
Bartman,
yeah.
This is the guy
Bartman. This is the guy that they blamed the
Game
World
6.
Game 6. Which, by the way, I after what they did to him, I don't think the Cubs. I wish they never win
won.
ever again.
Yeah.
And that town. What they did to him is insane to me.
So real quick backstory: it was Game 6. And Chicago is, I think, up 3-2. So if they win this game, they go to their first World Series in like 100 years.
Yeah.
Foul ball.
They're up big. And on the Marlins, I think. And then a foul ball is hit, and whoever the Cubs outfielder is, he is going to catch this, and the Cubs are going to win the game.
Yeah.
A fan reaches out, doesn't realize the outfielder's there. He's so excited to catch a foul ball, reaches out, grabs it, gets in the way. The outfielder can't catch it.
Cubs fan.
Yeah. And then the outfielder loses his fucking mind on the fan, and then the Marlins come back and win that game, and then win the series, and the Cubs don't make the World
Here's
Series.
the thing, real quick.
Salute, that's right.
If he wasn't a Cubs fan, is he dead?
If it's now with the internet, he's probably dead.
Because think about that.
They couldn't really get to him like they did then.
Well, right, no.
If it was a Twitter and stuff like that around, he's probably dead. Like people would have started filming him and tracking him. Like he at least was able to somewhat get away.
Yeah.
Just because the internet wasn't like it was.
Oh, I meant that day. Like imagine he was a fan, I guess, of the Marlins. Imagine he had a Marlins hat on.
Yeah.
And he disrupts the
would have to
play.
be.
Yeah.
And the saddest part of that whole thing,
him.
sorry, real quick, just you know the backstory. I actually watched one of the rare baseball games I ever watched. You see him the rest of the game as the comeback is happening. Yeah. They keep cutting back to him, and he's just staring straight forward, fucking freaking out inside, like, what is happening? Yeah. Oh my God, this is all my fault. Everybody hates me. Yeah. You're just watching that for like 30 minutes, and then whatever happened after, you can.
So the ball was way in the stands. It wasn't like he didn't reach out at all. Like the ball was, if he didn't move, the ball would have hit him in the head.
Oh, so you think that there was no way that
maybe he catches it, but it's not. There's 50 people. A ball's coming at you. Yeah. No, if I throw you something, you're going to move towards it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that insane. And by the way, they were up and then they lost.
Yeah.
So they like
not his fault. He gave up runs. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't this like it wasn't. He reached over and like he's Moises Alou's having to jump kind of in the stands. Maybe he catches it. Maybe he doesn't. Does it almost? So they booed him. Whatever. And then if you watch the documentary, a woman that works there takes him out of the stadium, and she's like, "We kind of got to go." And then people see him because now he's been on TV all night, so people see him and they're like, "Oh, we got to like get you off the streets because you will get killed."
Yeah.
And so the woman that works there takes him to her apartment. So I'm waiting tables that night, and Jake Melnick's, this restaurant in Chicago. And so it was like packed. We're all watching it on TV, and all these Chicago fans. And then, so a friend of mine that worked there, she goes home. Well, she's roommates with that girl. So how crazy it is. Then she just goes home. Bartman's on TV. It's the craziest thing in the world. And she comes home, and he's sitting in her living room. And she's like, hey, and then he's just like, like just kind of watching the coverage of it. This guy was such a fan. He had headphones on.
He was listening to the radio. Yeah.
And so
play-by-play on the radio.
I think they put his address out in the paper the next day. They
in the paper?
That's wild.
I believe that.
Wow.
I believe
That's
in like the Chicago Tribune. I mean, I wish he sued them and where they don't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, they ruined that guy. Never done an interview. Never try to get anything for it. They've invited him to come back, but it's like insane to be. You ruined a guy's life, and then I think they sent him a World Series ring, and you're like, I don't even care about that. All these fans
sent him a ring.
Yeah. Oh, because they
know what
realize now.
What happened to his house? It got like
I mean, he couldn't go to work. He had to go he's never been back. I don't know if he's been back to a game. He's never done an interview. This dude is this guy cares about Chicago more than those players do. He wanted them to win more than Moises Alou probably cares about the Cubs.
Yeah.
And you ruined this guy's life.
Yeah.
And it's they still it was 10 years later, they're still would Bartman ruin that game. Just the audacity to do that to a guy is insane. And I always thought, I mean, they won, and I truly didn't think, I didn't want them to win that one. What you did to that guy is enough to be, I don't get over it.
Have you reached out to him?
To Bartman?
Yeah.
I am Bartman. What if I was I have a real strong opinion about it. You're like, God, you're really mad about this.
It was Nate the whole time.
It was me the whole time. No one knows. Trying to get the word out.
Oh, fuck, dude. All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because some of y'all need to step your timepieces up, okay? And I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to step your timepieces up. You're going to do it with the Vincero watch. Very, very simple, okay? Every dude needs to step up their style for the summer. A great way to do it is if you have a watch, okay? That's why we decided to partner with Vincero and help keep you looking good, feeling fresh. Vincero has got you covered, okay? You all know that I love a nice timepiece, and I'm telling you, Vincero has a bunch of absolutely beautiful timepieces that are catered to exactly the way that you dress, and I think that's the most important time. Look at my man Akaash right there, bro.
Killing it, bro.
Look at my man Akaash right there, killing it, okay?
Great watch for the money. Love
Amazing value right there. Amazing looking watch. And most importantly, they can curate the style based on the way that you dress, how you operate in the world. You don't have to accommodate the watch. The watch accommodates you. How amazing is that? Okay? The guys over on their team, they sent us some of these watches. I mean, they also have sunglasses, blue light blockers, the whole 9 yard. I need that blue light blocker because I think that's why my vision is going. We have been rocking them on the daily, okay? I'm telling you, look at that timepiece again. Look at it. Amazing. Amazing. Now, for the money, best watches, hands down, okay? When you pick one up, you absolutely understand it. You know it. You understand what's really going on. That's why they have over 28,000 five-star reviews on their website, and you can go read them for yourself. They're offering free shipping, free returns for 365 days, and a warranty on your watch for up to 5 years. I mean, that's pretty wild. It is a stress-free shopping environment, if you ask me. And with Father's Day right around the corner, now is the perfect time to pick up that perfect gift. So, exclusively for our listeners, Vincero is offering 15% off of any of their products. No exclusions. Snag yourself a watch or a pair of polarized sunnies for the summer. Go to VinceroCollective.com/flagrant. That's VINCERO collective.com/flagrant. This is a buy that you will not regret. Now let's get back to the show.
Yo, we also got show announcements. First of all, thank you for everybody who came out to Miami. We sold that bitch out. We appreciate it. So let's just keep this shit rolling. On June 4th through June 6th, I'm going to be in Phoenix at CB Live. Just picked up the show in Jersey in Hasbrook Heights at Bananas. I'm going to be there for June 11th and June 12th. June 17th through June 19th, Kansas City. I'm going to be at the Kansas City Comedy Club. Come through. July 1st through July 3rd, I'm going to be in San Diego at the American Comedy Club. And July 22nd through July 24th, I'm going to be at Magooby's Joke House in Baltimore. It's a goofy-ass name, but we're going to have fun. Come through. Get your tickets on my website, AkaashSingh.com.
Yo! Big tour energy happening right now. Tickets are already out as you are listening to this. TheAndrewSchultz.com. Go get them shits. Don't let the scalpers fuck you, okay? The infamous tour, the tickets are available right now. Do not let the scalpers fuck you. Go to TheAndrewSchultz.com. Your city is on there. We are coming to your city and get those tickets before. Because I'm telling you, these scalpers, be hiking these fucking prices up, and then people last minute, they end up spending hundreds of fucking dollars to come to the show. Go get them right now. The Andrew Schultz. I should just run down the cities real quick. One time for cultural purposes, obviously. Okay. We are coming to Virginia Beach. That's, I think we might have. Wait, will we be out there already?
Yeah, your phone flashlight's on, dude.
It is? Oh, fuck.
Come on, dude.
My bad.
Go crazy.
Holy shit. Did we already go to Virginia Beach by the time this comes out?
No.
No, we didn't.
We're in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. There might be some show tickets left for the. We added a 5th show, so might be some tickets left. Orlando sold out. St. Louis, I think you had a couple tickets left. San Antonio, few tickets left. Denver sold out. Omaha, go check that out. Charlotte, we got a few tickets left. And then we are cracking it open officially. Infamous tour. Dallas, Houston, Tucson, Los Angeles. Remember, I'll tell you something about that in a second. Oklahoma City, Detroit, Milwaukee, San Diego, Austin, Louisville, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Indianapolis, Washington, D.C., Madison, Chicago, Minneapolis, Fargo, Boston for New Year's Eve. And very important announcement for the special. We're now shooting the special in Austin, Texas, a state that can, promise us that they're going to be open. We don't know what the deal is with California, so we can't roll the dice on that. When you got these production companies, you have this many moving parts, cameras, all that kind of stuff. We would have actually probably done it in Florida, but we played every goddamn place in Florida, so I don't know what would be left. So we are going to do it in Austin. We are still going to do those LA comedy shows. So the comedy shows that we had booked for the special, those 4 shows, we are still going to do those shows. We are going to honor those tickets, those people who bought the tickets before. But we're also releasing a few more tickets because now we don't have all these seats that are removed for cameras. So we're going to let you guys get some more tickets for those LA shows. So come on down there, go check those out. And then Austin, go gobble those up if you want to be for the special taping. And yeah, man, let us know if there's any questions. Obviously, you can contact the venues. You can contact Ticketmaster if you have any questions. Yeah, just really appreciate you. Really excited about all this. So let's get back to the show. Oh, golf?
Yeah, because there's amazing stuff.
Are you good?
PGA Championship. I'm all right.
Like, what's your handicap? Yeah.
I'm 5 right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you're almost what is it called? Scratch golfer?
Yeah. Well, 5. This is where it gets tough. 5 to 0 is brutal.
Why?
I mean, you got to be shooting. You need to shoot under par some, and then you got to shoot even a lot. You
just can't make that many mistakes.
You just can't. Double bogeys have got to be gone, and you got to make birdies. It's hard. It's very, and you got to be really good at putting and chipping. And
how much is you love the sport, and how much of it is I need me time?
I love the sport. So, like, as we're doing this, the major PGA Championship is on right now, the majors. And, like, I think the sport is, like, unbelievable. I think a lot like comedy. It's on you. No one else is out there. It's you.
Yeah.
No matter what, like, the course is like the audience.
Yeah.
You decide on how that show goes.
Yeah.
If you want this audience to be bad or good, it's up to you.
Sometimes it's windy.
Sometimes it's windy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes stuff can go wrong. It's unfair.
Yeah.
But it's on you. You got to make your own career, your own life. No one else can help you. No one can make you do anything.
Yeah.
It's totally up to what you do.
Yeah.
So I love the aspect of that with comedy and that. So I love as a fan, but then also it is that too for me. Is you're doing what we do. Stand up, like, and how much we're trying to think of jokes. We're trying to think of stuff 24/7. Our brain never shuts off. It's a nightmare. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I want to be oblivious. I would love to be, like, when you see someone that's just real oblivious, you're like, oh my God, dude. Like, how great would that be?
Yeah.
So, like, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're like, I walk in a restaurant, you're like, I know everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And, like,
you're Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
But just with no real skills.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You just know this guy's going to kill me, and then he kills you, and you can't fight back. But you're like overly thinking of stuff, and you're just like so exhausted. So when I go play golf, it's like all your mind goes to
focus on one
thing. And so it's a break because you can't shut your brain off.
Yeah.
But you just can. I can put the energy into one thing, and then everything kind of goes away.
So here's my question about golf, and this would drive me fucking nuts. One hole ruins the whole 18 potentially.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I suck at golf. So I'm literally just trying to, like, hit one hole well.
Yeah.
The rest don't matter. If I get one, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right? If I can shoot, like, what is it? If I bogey a hole, that's 1 over.
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But for you, since you're so close to par, if you fuck up one hole badly, the whole 4 hours that you're out there is ruined, right?
Well, you got to try to get it back. So, like, a lot of times you got to that's the mental aspect of it.
It doesn't break you.
Well,
you're playing so fucking well, and then one hole.
It does break you, but the mental aspect is you got to get over that. I mean, but again, it goes like everywhere. You have to learn to deal with that. Like you got to learn, like, yeah, dude, you got to double bogey or triple bogey.
You don't just restart. You go, let me just go back to one and just run.
I mean, you want to. So I played in our club championship, and one day I played really good. And this you got to play by the rules. Like everything's got to go in the hole. Yeah. You know, the no gimmies, all this stuff like that. Yeah. And so I end up I get back-to-back 8. So quadruple bogeys, back-to-back quadruple bogeys. And like that's that's bad, you know, like it's not. And so, yeah, I mean, your whole day's kind of shot there. But then from that moment on, I thought, well, if I can just be even par from there on out.
Yeah.
And then I did that. I ended up the rest of the holes I shot even par. I made a bogey, but made a birdie. I kind of canceled each other out.
Yeah.
And I at least made it to even par after those 2 8s. So then I shoot like an 81 or something. And
what is the course?
72.
Okay.
Yeah, 71 I think is the course. So on that one, so it's 10 over.
Yeah.
But an 81 is good. And like, you know, for me, but that could have easily been a 95.
Right.
So, like,
if you just let it go,
you start going like, all right, let me calm it back down.
I'm just
and
saying the mounting pressure. Like I do have respect for golfers. I don't really respect a sport as a sport. No offense, but like, but I do have respect for the mental aspect in terms of like the mounting pressure of you having the best game of your life. It just gets that much worse.
It's like when a pitcher has a no-hitter.
Exactly.
But the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's not, that's what I mean. Like it's a no. That is a great way to put it. Is a pitcher with a no hitter
in this
the entire time.
But 18 innings.
18. Yeah.
Okay. So
every shot and every shot is like that.
Yeah.
So when does it become? When does the pressure kick in? Like the first 3 holes, if you're doing well, you're not going like, oh my god, this is my best time ever. I'm going to ruin it.
Yeah.
6, 8.
It's in there the whole time because I would say the back 9 is when it starts. If you had a good round going, because you're like, well, now I can just ruin it.
Yeah.
And so you start thinking of that stuff. So all this bad stuff, you know, it's like when you're on stage telling a joke.
Yeah.
And you ever think you're like, all right, I got one joke left. If I don't mess this joke up, this was a great set. And you're like, why are you thinking that?
Yeah.
And
you're filming.
Yeah.
Like you're filming. You're oh fuck, they didn't laugh at that. Is this whole show ruined, or is this whole joke ruined? Like So
it's those little things pop in your head that happens in golf. So you think
I actually struggle with that more. Like even like doing shows.
Yeah.
If the crowd is fire for every comic, I'm like, I can't be the one that fucks this up. If the crowd sucks for every comic, I'm like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
I'll go up and do it.
You know, it's so weird. Maybe this is us like coming up in New York, but like I'm weirdly comforted by a bad crowd.
Oh yeah.
Like
now
I'm
I
at
get
the cellar waiting to go on, and like some comic is up just fucking murdering. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
I got to bring them down.
Yeah.
To bring them back.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like when they're like a little bit like ornery, you know what I mean? Like when they're kind of like a little disgruntled a little bit, maybe they don't trust it. I'm like, this is home, baby. Like, this is every single time I went on stage. And then you get to be a little like angry at them or a little dismissive to them, and then there's like a little battle. Yeah. Then you get to that breaking point. Yeah, that is weird. It's weird. I don't know. I guess. So a guy like Tiger. Did that make it that much more exciting when his heyday, when he would like hunt down these players?
Tiger is so like, you know, you always want to compare someone to Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And really the only person you can is Tiger Woods. There's no one really else.
Really?
I mean, as far as what they did, I don't think anybody, Michael and Tiger are the same person. And they were both the biggest stars of their things.
I see it.
And they were
explain it to me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so when Tiger came, actually, you know, being a black golfer, like was not no one. There wasn't that many. There was a lot before him, so it's not like they're not.
Yeah.
But when Tiger took it to another level that where Jordan did, where you're like, well, just everybody's on board with this guy. We all worship this guy. This guy's the biggest star on earth. We all want to be him. They loved what they do. They like Jordan. You know, like you see, like Jordan, LeBron, right? Like, I was always a big LeBron defender. I'm kind of bouncing all over here. I have a big theory with Kobe, too. Like, I missed out on Kobe because I was too into Jordan. So
that's our generation.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
Jordan, Kobe was too close to us that that's my only, I wish I would have appreciated him and watched him more.
Because we saw so much Jordan.
We saw so much Jordan that it was like,
it was hard to.
It was like, all right, I can't. This is too much. I'm watching the same movie. I can't. I gotta.
But now you look at, you're like, oh, he was a killer.
I wish I would have watched.
Yeah.
But I look at LeBron. I was able to kind of get back into LeBron because I was like, I was like a generation removed. I go, okay, I'll watch this guy.
Yeah.
And then so, but like you see with LeBron and Jordan, like Jordan, like didn't like talk about himself at all. Like he didn't, you know. LeBron he tweets a lot of stuff how great he is, and you're like, you're kind of like, all right, dude, you're like killing me here. Like, I want you to be the guy, but Jordan's quiet. Jordan, I don't know, was like humble, but
didn't have Twitter.
Didn't have Twitter, which is
humble. Also, not at all.
Yeah, not at all humble.
But if you asked him if he was the greatest, he never said yeah. Like he was like, oh no, the other guys are humble in that aspect.
I think he would say he's the greatest.
I think they asked him, and he said he was. He goes, no, it's not.
The only guy who could beat me or could come close to beating me is Kobe because he stole all my moves.
Yeah. When did he say that? But I think they asked him.
We're just gonna remove Jordan from Nate. Nate loves Jordan.
Yeah, I got to
find out who he really is.
Jordan's not that good of a dude.
He would punch people in the face that disagree with him in practice.
So there's the social media aspect, I guess, that you don't hear all of this stuff. I know he's aggressive in that way.
Yeah,
but I'm like, that's about his practice. It's
that's
not like
actually more Tiger-like to me. Is they're fucking killers.
Yeah.
But everything stays right here.
Yeah.
And they didn't have. Jordan had a couple friends in the league. Tiger didn't have any friends on tour in his day. He is an island.
I hear
Jordan
what
is
you're
an
saying
island.
with LeBron. Like, there's a weakness to him. Who am I to fucking call LeBron weak? Like, he just squashed me.
There's not a weakness. I just think if you talk about the two greatest, I think it's Jordan, LeBron, and then you can have a conversation outside of that.
Oh, wow.
I don't like when people drop LeBron like it's like garbage. I mean, him winning 3 championships at 3 different teams, to me, if he gets to 5 championships, that counts as a 6th to me in the fact that he did it at 3 separate teams. So now you're like, yeah, maybe you go try to say he doesn't have 6. Mm-hmm. He won at 3 different teams. That's pretty wild.
It's hard to build a team around.
That's crazy, dude.
Start over.
So
I hear
like,
what you're saying.
it's LeBron and Jordan. Yeah. That's the conversation. Yeah. And then it's always funny that no one ever, people always say the championship thing. And you're like, oh, okay, so you want to talk about Bill Russell? They're like, get out of here. I don't talk about Bill Russell. You're like, well, then we're not talking about a championship thing because he has like 10.
There wasn't any black guys in the league. Like Bill Russell.
But he won, I know, 10 or 11.
Wilt was there.
It was 1.
That's a pretty good one, though.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But there was 8 teams, like, or 12 teams. Like, it was a different league. It was a different league. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, the greatest winner in history.
Yeah.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the LeBron thing, I don't know. When I meant weakness, I meant like there's like an emotional weakness. There's an ego weakness. And I think that's what you're talking about with the
He's trying to prove himself like over and over.
And
being like, no, I'm doing good.
I am the guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to crush you.
Everybody did it for him.
Everybody
did what? Everybody, like fans and everybody wrote how great he was. They did it.
Yeah,
Jordan did it.
Yeah, he didn't
Jordan
have to.
didn't come out and go, I'm the greatest.
Yes.
That's doing like Jordan. Like that's what I mean by humbled. Like I'm not saying he's humbled.
Yeah.
But he didn't. There was no things going. He would confidently answer a question.
Yeah.
But he never. I mean, LeBron just tweeted that he's the 25 points per game thing.
Yeah.
He tweeted where everybody was, or he posted it. He posted it.
He's also
Bleacher Report didn't post it.
Yeah.
He posted it.
And he's reacting to people. Like,
yeah, it's like you're like, all
say
right,
the whole
dude.
post because it's kind of funny.
It was like he said, I don't know.
Y'all never saw me as a scorer. Well, that's how I wanted it anyway. It's like, who's saying that
and
about?
Then no one. He goes,
no one said anything.
I'm a pass first guy. I'm like, yeah, dude. I think there's an argument. You're the greatest talent to ever play basketball.
Yeah.
They want to say he's better than Jordan or whatever. I don't know. No one's built like that, dude. No one's that big and runs that fast and can pass that good. And
I mean,
shoot.
the core vision
it's
is
crazy,
insane.
dude.
Yeah.
LeBron's it's bananas.
Yeah.
But like Jordan, like I don't know. It was like the more you're like, you just didn't hear all this stuff. Now they did grow up in 2 different eras. But anyway, back to the Jordan Tiger thing. That's why they're the exact same person.
I just don't get Tiger.
Well, it's crazy, dude.
Impressed.
You missed out.
I'm just not impressed.
Well, that's insane.
The guy falls apart over golf and pussy. Like, I don't get it.
There's a great book about everything a Tiger, and the documentary covered a lot of it, but just like the guy was raised to be a fucking killer. His dad damn near gave him PTSD, just like yelling at him on the
golf.
Yeah, no, but it was weird. The stuff his dad is doing is like trying to break him on the golf course. And he said to Tiger, if it ever gets to be too much, you say this one word and I will stop. And
a safe word.
It was a safe word.
Yeah.
Tiger never used a safe word. He would call him the N word. He would like fucking berate that you piece of shit, you suck. And Tiger wouldn't fucking break. This kid is.
But then he broke.
He broke with bitches.
I mean, eventually.
Bitches break men.
But he did pretty good until he broke. I mean, but that's where
won a golf tournament.
Jordan
I don't think
probably
golf
would have
is
broke
sport, but
if they would have had, if like the era that he would have, like all those guys.
That guy's unbreakable, dude.
If they would have,
doesn't care.
I mean,
Jordan's a different level.
He quit
of not
basketball for 2 years.
He had a fucking Hitler mustache, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody breaks him, dude.
Yeah.
I do whatever I want to do, however I want to do it.
But he did quit basketball for 2 years. He retired very early.
And then he came back.
So he was broke though.
I don't think he was broke. I think he had like some beef in the league. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies about what that is, but I think it was just like, oh, you're not going to tell me what I do. I do whatever the fuck I want.
If the Tiger thing though, so the golf, if you think it's like, I know it's like the idea, like how good John Daly, for instance, people think he's just this fat guy. You know the hand and eye coordination he has. I saw him actually play 2 weeks ago, and we were all hidden in this kind of this celebrity kind of thing. And so we're 150 yards from a hole, and there's 200 people watching, and they made all the celebrities hit to to get close to the hole, whatever. And if you made it, you would win. And so like the pressure of hitting with 200 people watching is wild. All you're thinking is like, I want the ball just to go up there. I don't even care if it goes near it. Just don't duff it. Don't slide it. Don't like shank it. And so everybody's hitting, and then John Daly goes last, pretty drunk, and he hits it. This guy's 50-something years old, and dude, the ball just never leaves the flag. It doesn't go in, but the flag's here. The ball goes directly over the flag. You know how insane that is, dude?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to hit a golf ball? It's so hard.
It's really hard.
It's really, really hard.
And it looks like it shouldn't be, which is that much more frustrating.
When Tiger won that Grand Slam where he won every major and they did a thing that nobody's done that, dude. So a handicap.
What happens when real athletes start playing golf, though?
They do play golf and they don't do good.
Do they though?
They do go play golf. Michael Jordan's played golf during the NBA.
Michael Jordan beat Tiger Woods in golf many times.
No.
This is known, dude.
Yeah. You don't. You're just trying to say it like to go. These are real athletes.
But they're learning golf late. I'm saying, what happens when real athletes go in? Not like John Daly, but like a real athlete.
Dude, Dustin Johnson.
Phil Mickelson's a real athlete. He's an accountant. All these guys are accountants. Like, what happens when there's guys that actually have like fast twitch muscle fibers, like real athletes? They start playing golf.
Well, they do. Dustin Johnson could have, I think, could play basketball somewhere, like in college. He could have done all that. He is a real athlete. Yeah. Brooks Koepka. These guys, Tiger changed that. Now these guys are all jacked.
Now they're fucking jacked.
And now they're in shape. And
now they're
real
getting
athletes.
good at golf finally.
Yeah. What Tiger did in his run was unreal. Handicaps, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm a 5 handicap.
Yeah.
And then you get to 0 is scratch. Then you start going plus.
Yeah.
So plus is good. So a lot of golfers are plus 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
When Tiger was at his best, I believe he was a plus 10. So that means every time he goes out to play, your handicap is basically what you
10 of the holes he's under par.
Oh, yeah. If he played me,
and then the rest par.
Rest of it par. So your handicap is what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
So if I'm a plus 5, I can go shoot under par, but like I can also go shoot a 77. That's what my abilities are.
Right.
And then so his capability, every course that he walked on, if it's a par 71, he can go shoot a 61. But
imagine like Antonio Brown, he could do like a 55.
Yeah.
Like somebody that actually was built to do, cool physical shit. Tom Brady.
Here's why you'll never know, because those guys will never play golf.
Why?
Yeah. Well, they do go try it. You watch them go play.
Fun.
But they don't put the same effort in. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like, what if they put the exact same effort in?
Golf
you know what I mean?
Like chess. It's a sport, but it's more mental than anything. It's chess.
It's so hard that
Tiger Woods was an athletic chess player.
Yeah.
Like an astronaut.
Yeah.
He's an astronaut.
Gotcha. Where you have to be physically fit, but you also have to be like smart.
Mentally strong.
Strong. Yeah.
It's so hard that you dismiss it like the way you're dismissing it. That's how hard it is.
I'll be honest with you.
It's like that you're just acting like you're trying to say Tiger's not good because that's how hard golf is. That you just were like, no, none of them are good.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see my fiance cleaning, right? She'll be like sweeping, and I'll be like, that's golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think golf is.
Yeah.
It's kind of sweeping.
Something that's
just cleaning
so
up the
hard.
course. Clean it up.
That's what people tend to do with something that's unattainable. They go, well.
But they don't do that with stand-up, right? They're like, oh my God, that's the hardest thing. I would never want to do that. But everybody goes to the golf and they're like,
everybody wants to do stand-up.
But that's the most terrifying thing in the world. Like,
it is the most terrifying, but I mean, how many people
There's no celebrity stand-up tournaments.
There's a lot of celebrities that just get into stand-up though. Like,
but they're poor now.
I know, but I mean, but they go
it would terrify them.
Yeah. The celebrity tournament, it's not like everybody's good. Everybody's real bad out there.
I'm just trying to say, you don't think that, like, let's think of an athlete, Dwayne Wade. You don't think of Ronaldo, Messi.
Dude. These guys do play, and if they dedicated, it's just different. The hand-eye and whatever they're good at, the pressure and the hand-eye or coordination, all that stuff's like a little bit better. Like, and that's where I think golfers come from. I mean, they are athletes, dude. They got to go. You got to play 18 holes with every hole is that much pressure.
Right.
Mentally, it's just a different thing, dude. Like it's mentally, it's it's a different sport.
I'll be honest with you. I think I could be a scratch golfer. Scratch is par.
Yeah.
If I worked on it for 6 months to a year, I think I could get it down.
If you can get to scratch, I'll give you $100,000. If you can get to scratch,
if I can be a scratch golfer
in 1 year,
I'll
give you $100,000 in these guns. Like, I'll do whatever you want. Like,
so I think if 6 months to a year, I would have to dedicate myself full. Like I'd have to at least spend, I don't know, I'd have to go golfing.
I'll let you do it every day. You have to go.
I don't need every day. I would go like maybe on Sunday, maybe on Saturday as well. And then if I could do it 2 times a week, I think I could be a scratch golfer.
I'll give you more than $100,000
if I could do it.
Scratch golfer?
Yeah.
In a year.
6 months to a year. I think between 6 months and a year, I'd be able to hit it. Probably around the 9-month mark.
Absolutely.
But I'd have to do it at least 2 days a week. I'd have to do it at least 2 days a week.
But I'll get it. I'll figure out how to get it.
You would give me $1 million if I could do that?
If you can get to scratch golfer now, unless you're lying and I don't know that you're some golfer or something that you're already
I'm from New York. Where would I golf?
Yeah, there's nowhere.
There's nowhere to go.
So yes, yeah. So 6 months to a year. Absolutely.
But if I just focused on it, like if I actually went there and I like looked at the ball and I tried to hit it straight, I think I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He also thinks he can beat Ronda Rousey in a UFC match.
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely do that. I think that Akaash could also do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not on board with this one.
She beat Turtle in Entourage, so I doubt it.
Wait, in an actual fight or in Entourage?
The show Entourage.
Oh, it was the show. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, because then I was about to think about that.
Yeah.
Because he's littler, but he's still a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, look, I don't want to like ruin golf for you or anything like that. I'm just saying
you're not ruining. You won't ruin it for me.
I love how much you love it.
I'll be rewarded by it.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Because I actively do play every day trying to get to zero.
And you also have like a golf thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
Oh yeah, dude. And I can't do it.
What do you mean?
I can't get to zero.
I think you could get to zero. Have you tried playing
Will you give
1
me
to 2
$1 million
times a week?
if I actually need $1 million? I got to give you $1 million.
I'm
gonna try to get some. Will someone give me $1 million if I get to zero? Because then I have to give my $1 million to Andrew. So like I don't have. I need something.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second because I need to save you some time and get you some nutrients. Okay, that's what's rare. It's very easy to eat quickly. It's very difficult for most of you to eat quickly and get delicious, nutrient-rich meals. Okay? And that's because you're not using Freshly. And you're going to start using Freshly right now because it's saving you fucking money and delivering your body the goods that it needs. It's also delivered right to your fucking house, pre-prepared. Okay? Pre-prepared? I don't even know if that's a word. That's twice. That's twice. But it's prepared before it even gets to your door, and you whip that shit up in no time. I'm telling you, grocery shopping, cooking can be a pain. Who the fuck wants to do that? Unless you have a passion for cooking, just let Freshly do all of it for you and deliver it right to your door so you can get that good immediately. Okay? Freshly. Freshly.com is where you're going to visit. Freshly.com. You can choose over 30 delicious, satisfying, better for you meals like steak, peppercorn, sausage, baked penne, or their chicken pesto bowl. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from that work for your dietary needs, preferences, tastes, and family size. And now our listeners can try Freshly for just $6.16 per meal. That is way cheaper than you're going to spend going out. It's probably cheaper than you're going to spend making that meal, all things considered. So stop searching the internet for healthy food near me every night and start living a life of Freshly, okay? A life of Freshly means you're going to be living healthy. Simple as that, delivered right to your door. Can't get easier than that. How are you going to do it? I'll tell you how you're going to do it. First, your meals are always delivered fresh, never frozen. Think about that. And they're ready to heat and enjoy in just 3 minutes. With new meals added each week, Freshly brings the convenience of the chef-made, nutritionist-designed classics right to your kitchen. So right now, Freshly is offering our listeners $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/flagrant. Wow. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com/flagrant. Get $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/flagrant for $40 off your first 2 orders. Now let's get back to the show. Okay. Nate, before you go, please tell everybody where they can see you. I know you got a tour coming up.
Yeah.
I know you got the special. And just everything. I mean, The podcast.
Yeah, the Nateland podcast. It's on YouTube and like all, whatever all the podcast stuff is.
Yeah.
And then,
it's really funny. You guys have great clips. I mean, like I always watch the clips that pop up on your page, but it's really funny.
Yeah, it's just being funny. It's like we're not trying to, and I don't talk about it that much. Like
what?
The podcast. I don't know. I like where it's but it is very, I enjoy it. I think it's helped my stand up.
Really?
Because I think that was the hard part when you get off, when you leave New York and you're not doing spots and you really kind of start doing the road.
You start to develop your ideas.
And spots don't really mean anything. You don't really need spots as much.
Yeah.
You don't want them as much.
Yeah.
I think to be the better comic, you got to go learn on the road and you got to learn to you're a show.
Yeah.
When people come see you, you're the show.
Yeah.
They need to see the show. And so, but doing this podcast and being funny and, it's like, it's a good muscle. It's kind of back to like New York when it was like, that's what made so fun in New York is like, busting balls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Nateland podcast specials, The Greatest Average American on Netflix, and then the tour, the Rain Check tour. A lot of the dates have been put up.
Yeah.
It's all new material. People always wonder that. You get asked that a lot. And then I'll be coming to a lot of cities. A lot of cities are not announced. That's the big thing, dude. People. They're like, when are you coming here? You're like, yeah, dude. When do I get off the vibe that I don't tour?
Yeah.
You're like, like we're going to Wichita, dude. I'm coming to Dallas. All right. So let's not worry about it. Like I'll be there. Like, but these are the dates. So they're all up. They all went up now. And then I'll be in Naples is my last kind of club date.
What are you doing?
Off the Hook.
Off the Hook.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember I did that there. Is it still in the restaurant?
I don't know. I haven't been there, and I don't know. I don't know if I think I've been there once. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I had a bad bomb in that place, man.
I've heard it mixed. I'm hoping that it's. I think it's when you get your.
I think they changed
fans.
it. I think they
changed it, and if you get your fans there,
okay.
It's. I'm hoping
this is way before that, and I just heard them frying shrimp.
Yeah,
like I heard the shrimp get dropped in to the grease.
You just hear like this guy's not that good.
Shows where you hear the cooking. Oh, that shit is the worst, dog.
I mean, like one thing is like hearing ice in a drink, and you're like, okay, I guess I kind of understand. Ice kind of loud, but like when I could find, I knew what they made.
I heard the grill, dog. The motherfucking burger.
Bro,
it's so quiet.
Son, it's sizzling. It's not even that loud.
Literally a few minutes before, I'm listening to the girl put the order in. So I know the order, right?
Yeah.
And that's loud because nobody's laughing, right? And then a few minutes later, I just hear, it's popcorn shrimp.
Yeah, it's almost ready. She sits there, she goes, I think they're almost ready to go through. She knows it's coming. That is funny, like when you hear afterwards, you're like, dude, can y'all calm it down with the noise? And they're like, I set silverware on the table very gently. And you're like, why don't you do better? You're like, that's all right. Yeah. All right, maybe I should be doing better. But could you guys, how loud's that soda machine back there, man? Is there a microphone by it? They're like, that's the restaurant next door. That's how quiet you made it.
Oh, dude, man, some bad bombs. You're a bomb in comics, comics. Mm-hmm. Comedy club in Connecticut.
Yeah.
The one in the casino.
Oh, yeah.
Foxwoods.
Foxwood. Yeah. I heard a guy win. I don't know what game he was playing, but I was bombing so hard. And I guess one of the doors over to something, I just heard a guy go, woo! It's just everybody in that fucking room just bombing with me, looking out like, we could be out there winning, man. What the fuck did you drag me in here for?
It's the quietness is just wild.
Yeah.
When you're bombing. It's something special, man. It's like when you're doing it and you're like, dude, you're in it and no one's laughing and you hear everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. It's an experience. Do you ever want to go up though when it's bad? Like we talked about that earlier. When someone's like, yo, dude, this show is terrible. And like, I remember me and Giannis did some show in Long Island and they weren't even listening. Like you could go on stage as a comic and do a set and 80% of the crowd would be like, oh, I didn't even know there was a comic on stage at one point. Which is wild, dude. Yeah. To be going, doing New Year's Eve shows.
Yeah.
I remember hosting those in New York and you would go up, like they get the show done and there's still like 10 minutes before the ball gets dropped.
Yeah.
And so they're dropping checks and people are just talking and you're talking in a microphone and you're like, this is pretty surreal. Just like I'm on stage doing what my dream is.
Yeah.
And there's people that if you asked you like, hey, do you remember when I went on stage? They would be like, no, I don't even know who you are. And you're like, dude, I was in front of you. That's like, it's crazy. It's unbelievable to have to like deal. Like you have to emotionally deal with that.
I was in front of you for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a fucking sitcom, bro.
Yeah, it's in front of you. And you walk out and they're like, I didn't even see you. And you're like, and you're like, the microphone was on, man. It was on. It's not like it was off. I was the loudest thing in the room, and they go, "Oh, I thought it was like I don't know what. I thought it was like a newscast.
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
I thought they turned on Channel 2 or something. We were watching the ball drop.
Yeah, they were those shows. There'd be shows in the city where like nobody, I think, told the people in the restaurant there was going to be a show.
Oh yeah,
you know, like what do they call it? Like kamikaze comedy or something like that?
Yeah,
like, where
ambush,
like an ambush show. I think they did a show at a laundromat too. Like they were just these places. Like this is what comics do. Like they find places where there are people will be.
We're parasites. Any host that will have us, we will come suck the business out of your store.
But there was a time where we would like have to promote it.
Yeah.
And then comics got savvy. They're like, well, people are always waiting for the bathroom. What if we do the show in front of the bathroom?
Yeah.
You know, and they did it at a laundromat. So
we just needed people.
Yeah, just people.
We needed bodies.
Bro, the laundromat.
New York would be get in front of people. I remember going to Broadway Comedy Club and you're bombing and you're like, where's everybody from? Like, does anybody speak English in here? And it's like a room of like Asian tourists, and not one spoke English, and they're just there kind of for the experience.
Well, they're there for Dave Chappelle because they were told that Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
And you're just bombing, and you're like, and then you're like, does anybody really speak English? And everybody's like, not really. Like, you know, they know just not really. Like, and then not really. And you're like, okay, and then you just bomb for 10 minutes and you get out.
Yeah,
that's what that stuff. I would say.
Oh, by the way, that's the highlight of your day. Like the whole earlier part of your day, you're going tonight. 9:40 Broadway Comedy Club.
You're building up to that.
Oh, you're tweaking little words in the set. Oh, I'm gonna try this.
A new joke.
Oh, it's like a Game of Thrones finale. Yeah. Like that's what I waited for this whole time.
This whole time. New York was good. I would say New York was like dog years. That's why comics. That's why New York comics to me are always so great. Is like because we get up so much. Yeah. Over an 8-year period. Like I went up every day for 8 years. Like, every day.
You age in time on stage. Yeah. Like there are comics, you go to certain places, they've been doing it 12 years, but they've really been doing it like a year and a half. Like you did a 10-minute spot once a week. Yeah. You're not aging quickly in this comedy.
No, if we had a bad show, I mean, you know, the most I ever did was 7 in one night, which is too much. Yeah. But average would be
after
like
4, it gets a lot. Yeah.
3 to 5 would probably be about your average. Yeah. For you know, at the beginning you're only doing 1. Yeah. But you could go hit multiple open mics. Yeah. But then once you kind of get into the clubs, you're doing, you know, probably 4. Yeah. And so 4 a night, dude, that's a lot. Yeah. You can fix a joke like You'd
see it evolve.
You see it evolve.
That's what I miss. Like we came down here so we could start doing stand up again, and obviously get out of New York because it was just so locked down. But what I do miss is having an idea that has no punchlines. It's just something funny about it, and then going on stage and like working it out with that audience. Yeah, that's the only way I learned how to write. Like I did not learn how to, or I could talk to like my friends about it. Yeah. Oftentimes, like talking to non-comics is really helpful. Yeah, because they're not like looking for it. You're just having like a pretend.
Try to mix it in.
Yeah, you're like a pretend serious conversation.
Yeah.
So like, but
that's always makes you be more conversational. That's why I like doing that. Sometimes it's like you try to, not like you're doing it, you're acting in front of them, but you could kind of like, but you get it, and then if you can say, if I can say it to you and it'd be funny in this conversation,
then it'll be funny.
Then it'll be conversation. Yeah. I like being conversational. That was a big Bert and Patrice thing. Like they would always say. I would ask, like, do you write everything out word for word? And they'd be like, no. Because it's like, then it gets too scripted. Yes. And so you don't want to be scripted. You know where the jokes are. You know where the laughs are. Yeah. And it's not bad if a couple things change. Yeah. Like, if some people always tell me, like, well, you didn't do the joke the same as you did it the other night. Yeah. And I'm like, that's not a bad thing. Yeah. Like,
keeps it fresh for me, too.
Keeps it like a little, like, you know, I don't want to miss the main part. Yeah. But it's overall, you're like, yeah, it should be a little flowing. So it's always.
I want to be a little surprised when I'm telling you. Yeah. I want it to feel like it's. I mean, if not the first time, but I want to feel like it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and I know this is maybe a bad habit. Like I kind of like getting a little lost in it. Yeah. Like I'll flip an order of something. On purpose, right? Yeah. And like try to like work myself out of it. Yeah. Because I don't know. It feels. If I always feel like if I feel alive in the moment with it, then they'll feel my energy.
Yeah.
You know.
I've thought about speaking golf. So golf has a lot of mental coaches.
We're doing this again.
We're doing golf again. Let me tell you, the disrespect you show Tiger Woods is bananas, dude.
What do you mean? The guy that couldn't hold it together?
Yeah, he held it all.
He just walked on grass
So,
for a living?
Yeah,
That's a tough life.
I mean, he's the greatest. He's my favorite. He's probably my number one. If I could ever meet Tiger Woods, is my number one person.
Really?
That's it. I love him, dude.
Number one.
Number one. Okay. Jordan would be there too.
If you have a sister, he'd probably be into.
Huh?
Oh yeah,
Sister, he'd probably be.
Yeah.
Into it.
He liked them white.
Yeah.
He liked them white.
Yeah. That's not all his fault either. You know, his dad used to, like, when he was a kid, he'd go to a golf course. His dad had a Winnebago. And like, as he's practicing, his dad would just take women into that
Pipe
Winnebago.
down, yeah.
And I mean, like, and he's married. So he's like just cheating on his mom, and Tiger's watching it.
Yeah.
Like
For toughness, for mental toughness.
Yeah.
And he never said the safe word.
He never said the safe word. They didn't either. There's
Sex joke! We got it! I knew it was in you, bro. I knew it. You react to the
Y'all
world.
tricked me, dude. You tricked me.
See?
My mom comes out. I'm like, I'm sorry. My mom's mad at me.
I just never think like that. I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about immediately.
That's all I think about, dude. Once we're done with this, I'm like, yo, dude, I have real big problems with this stuff. I just quietly, Andrew, you're hitting a little close to home. I have a big, but the mental,
I have a sex joke addiction.
the mental joke, the mental aspects. They how to be mentally. They tell them how to like teach them.
Yeah.
And I thought about that with stand up, where you, because you can catch yourself wandering.
Yeah.
And you're not in the moment, and you're like, I need to be better about being in the moment.
Yeah.
And so it's like that kind of aspect too is another reason that it compares.
Dude, that's so funny. Like, I always think about like, what can I do outside of comedy to be better at comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it sounds weird, but I look at these athletes and they're like, okay, they're like, if LeBron's playing basketball, but he's also like doing fucking yoga and ballet and all these other things to get his footwork. I'm like, what can I do in stand up? Does it mean like I'm reading things? Is it trying to increase my? It's experience.
I think it's experience. You just go do stuff. You go put yourself. The hardest
things
part
to talk about.
Go do something that's uncomfortable.
Yes.
If your girl wants you to go to, we got to go eat with these people.
Yes.
You don't like them. Well, you need to go.
Yes.
We got this dinner party. But okay, I'll go. Like, go do these kind of things that you're like, you would normally be like, I'm not going. And then go.
That's the
put
joke.
stuff together, like
Dropping in, right?
Yeah, I mean when we were on the road, that's what I would do back in the day. The reason I did these like vlogs was to get out of the hotel.
Yeah.
Because I'd realize I'd be in Columbus, Ohio, I'd be in the room, and I'd wake up at noon, I'd get some food, and then I'd go back into my hotel, and then I'd talk to 300 people.
Yeah.
I'd talk to nobody.
Yeah.
And then I'd talk to 300 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just got to go out and like do it. And then I started going out and do things, and all of a sudden I had shit to talk to these people about their hometowns. It was really fucking kind of interesting and cool.
Yeah.
I was okay. But like, what if there's a mental aspect outside of just experiences? What if it's like, when you're feeling like you're most secure and confident and you go on stage and anything that happens, you can bounce off of in the best way. Like, I bet there's athletes that like, I have to be in a good mental state to perform well in the playoffs. Like, what can I do to make sure my mental state?
Remember when LeBron was reading?
Fake reading.
Yeah, well, he was going through them fucking Kill a Mockingbird. What was it? The Hunger Games.
I didn't tell you this the story about that?
No.
Oh, this is crazy. You know LeBron fake reads books, right?
Oh, really?
For the photo op. He'll just read the first page of the book and they take a picture and he puts it down. Yeah. So he was fake reading the Hunger Games. And there was this like young journalist who was trying to like ingratiate himself to LeBron and build a relationship by talking about the Hunger Games. And he's like, oh, which one are you on? You're on the Mockingjay or something? Oh, dude, I love that one because Katniss is doing this, that, the other. And as he's talking to LeBron about it, he's realizing LeBron hasn't read any of these fucking books. So he's got to moonwalk out of the combo without letting LeBron know that he knows that he's a fucking fraud when it comes to reading these books. So now all these memes have come out of LeBron is only reading the front page of the book. Or the first page of the book.
Oh, great.
But that's another one. Like Jordan would be like, fuck reading.
Yeah, he'd be like, I don't
need
Are you
to
reading that?
I win. There's no
Remember
I read.
in the Last Dance when he met Seinfeld?
What did he say?
He goes, hey, they're big fans of your show. Because truthfully, like at that moment, Jordan and Seinfeld TV show, that's the two biggest things going.
Don't disrespect Jordan like that, bro.
No, that's fair.
Seinfeld
Don't disrespect Jordan.
Seinfeld was bigger than Tiger.
I mean, dude.
You like Seinfeld? Like
I
as a
do.
stand-up?
Yeah, I'm a big Seinfeld guy.
You don't think he's wildly overrated?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he started in 79. What do you want him to be? Like, I'm sorry he's not your
Eddie.
He was before Eddie. I'm sorry he's not exactly what you want him to be.
He needs to be exactly what I want to be.
You're very good at dismissing Andrew in a way that makes him look dumb.
Yeah.
It's really a talent. Yeah. You just very casually like, I'm sorry he's not exactly
I think you
what
have to be the... It's like...
It's really... Fucking, I marvel at how you just take it and you're just like, oh, I'm sorry.
I just think he's pretentious. I think that's why I mean, his stand-up is fine.
You know, that comes from it's an older comment. Like it's the...
No, because I love, you know, the OGs I love. Like, I'm actually, I miss that.
Potential. He's been so famous forever. I think he's like, dude, he's awesome. Like his specials are doing really good. I mean, created Seinfeld is my favorite show of all time. Like, it's the best show. That's insane.
So overrated, bro. That's so overrated.
Crazy.
You really, have you ever watched other shows?
Huh? Yeah, I've watched other shows, dude.
How are they?
I talk about
that was
Seinfeld.
like a Nate line. That was like a Nate line. Yeah. Have you tried other shows?
Have you tried other shows?
Have you tried watching other TV?
King and Queen. Everybody Loves Raymond. The Office. I love. Yeah,
all great shows.
All great shows. Seinfeld is great. Yeah. Did you not like it because we're living in Manhattan?
Maybe it was like too close. Like I just didn't care for it. I was like, okay, these guys are quirky.
Now that I lived there, there's
that's what you thought.
Like, look how
when
quirky
you were like
everybody
7 years old.
7 years old. I swear to God, I put it on, and I hated the way that Kramer would walk in. I'd be like, you're not gonna walk into someone's house like that. Like, I'm just not gonna let you in my house. Like, if you're gonna keep on bursting in the fucking door, it's just stupid.
I mean, you dance around in here all the time. Well, you know, you're the Kramer now, dude. No one you think what are you doing? Like,
you got to see my N-word bit too, bro.
He was a guy doing stand-up. That should have done it. He was like a celebrity that went into stand-up.
It didn't go too well.
It did not go good.
But if he did
that was the best thing about
6 to 12 months.
If you don't have an act or where to go, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
If you don't know where you're going up there, that's what happens.
It's the N-word.
It's gonna be
There's nothing else.
Best thing
you're
about
never
that
not.
video.
He said, "I am not bombing today."
Yeah.
Most of us just go, "Okay, it's a bomb.
It's a bomb.
We can do this."
It's like he's bringing everybody down with him. He's like,
sinking
if I die, everybody dies. Like, and he goes with that. Seinfeld's great. Seinfeld show's great.
Great show.
Stand-up's great. He's kind of the king.
He's also a billionaire, so you're asking him to not be pretentious when he's a billionaire comedian. He's a comedy.
I know. I'm like harder on him for some reason. Maybe it's because he's so successful. And
you're
what do you?
You're the next New York comic. It's okay.
I'm just like
you.
I don't know. Like
he's like the king, dude. Once Cosby was out, that's the guy.
Really?
Yeah, he's the. I mean, dude, all this stuff. Like, I don't wear shorts on stage, or like, not that I would wear them, but it's like I remember him saying, "Don't wear shorts," or one time he said, "Don't like short sleeve shirts," are like kind of weird on stage, and all these kind of weird
fashion
things.
advice from Seinfeld.
Well, he's just saying like, no one wants to see your arms.
Yeah, they do.
Huh?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that I don't agree with.
That's the things that annoy me. Like he has this like one idea of what stand-up is.
Yeah, that's
like,
a little annoying.
Up. You're not even the best at your version.
Yeah.
That's his thing. I don't know. It's
you and I do very different types of comedy.
Oh yeah.
I love your comedy.
Oh yeah.
Very different. There's very different.
I don't know what camera it is. We do. We definitely do.
But I can appreciate your comedy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I find that he has a hard time appreciating the things that aren't exactly the way that he does them. Maybe that's an old man type of thing.
Well, I mean, dude, he's in his 60s.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
figure it out.
It is, but it's definitely going to be an older kind of like, yeah, dude, that's the way he started. That's the way he is. That's what he does.
His most recent special, he even said, like, this is my last special. I'm too old for this now.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on. Comedy's not for old people to do. I'm done.
Him leaving at his peak, dude. When he talked with Jordan and he goes, yeah, you know, two guys in the 90s, and like they both they left. They got out of the way.
Yeah.
Too many people don't get out of the way anymore. They stay and they don't leave.
Who would you like to leave?
No, it's a few. I think it's too many to list. No, I don't know if I don't know if I want anybody to leave, but I don't know if there's a real answer to that. But it's like I do like the idea, dude. The show's the biggest show on earth, and they're going to give him, I mean, probably $100 million more if he does one more season, and he says no.
Yeah.
He goes, why would I can't top it. And then he's never done anything else. The reunion show was actually pretty perfect in the fact that they did it on Curb Your Enthusiasm. They did it on another show. They did the kind of reunion thing, cooler than anybody's ever done a reunion thing.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of done his own thing, and he left, and he goes, all right, see ya. Went back and did stand-up. The B movie was great.
Stop it, Nate. Shut the fuck up.
That I don't agree
You're defending the B movie?
I mean, what do you want it to be?
He's so good at it, dude.
Good.
I don't know how he does it.
Good is good. It wasn't even the best movie about bees that came out that year.
What was the better movie than that?
Wasn't it ant? There was an ant. Maybe it was an ant movie. I don't know. There was another insect movie that was better.
The bee movie's great.
Come on.
One of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my life.
Do you guys have like a thing? You guys have like a tour? Or
I've never
like
met
that?
him. I would love to meet him. I've never met him.
He'll let you down. I met him once.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't like him.
Yeah.
I hope we just talk about you the whole time.
Yeah, we did.
If I meet, I'm saying when I meet Seinfeld, he goes, "What about Andrew Schulz?" I was like, "I know, right?" Like, I'll have to defend you to him. Now that's what he does, dude. He wears those shoes. He goes, like, I'll have to get.
He wears the shoes.
I know. I would like to defend you to him. What if he gets just rails on you the whole time? And I'm like, no, dude,
there's no
great.
way Seinfeld knows who I am.
You're 2 New York dudes. Why don't y'all not get along with that? Because he's from Long Island and y'all don't care for them?
I like people from Long Island.
It's like,
I think they're like, to be honest, I don't know. In a lot of
Country
ways,
folk?
like the real New Yorkers. I know it's a weird thing to say, but their personalities fit the stereotype of what most people think New Yorkers are.
Yeah.
Way more than like me, for example.
Yeah.
Like I think when a lot of people meet me, they're not like, wait, aren't you supposed to say, get over here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
give me a pizza or whatever that kind
You
of shit.
fit in, if you were from Florida, honestly, like you could be like, all right, I get that. Like someone could think that.
I'm Florida, baby.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For whatever reason, he rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, I've always heard that, and some people, I like him. I mean, he's so big, and he's like, it's like, I don't know.
But when do we do that? We just like justify people being annoying because they're big? You can
Dude,
still be a nice
I
guy.
think if you met Jordan, I don't think it's going to be great. Like, I don't think
It's
like,
going to be great.
I think-
It's going to be great.
No, it's not.
No, it's
dude.
going to be great.
Dude, I think.
And you know what?
Not
He's
at
going
all.
to tell me how fucking easy golf is. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, I could have
gonna-
busted these guys'
You
asses
guys-
if I wanted
I was listening to your guys' podcast the other day, and couldn't agree more, Andrew, that I can easily could be 0.
That's what I'm saying. He gets it. A guy like Jordan gets it. You know what I mean? I'd like to meet Larry.
Yeah, I would love to meet Larry David.
Did you didn't meet him?
No, I've never met him. Jerry or Larry, would love to meet him. Big fans.
Larry, that'd be cool.
Jerry's great, dude.
I can see putting Larry
He's
above
true.
Jerry.
Jerry's a true stand-up comic. That's what I love. Jay Leno, true stand-up comic. Stuck with it. Still does shows. Still a road dog. That guy could do whatever he wants. Look at Letterman. Letterman ain't doing all that stuff. That's the thing with Letterman. Everybody's talking about Letterman and Leno, and everybody like Letterman more than Leno.
Yeah.
Letterman was the strictest human being alive. You had to have a suit. He banned Bill Hicks forever. You couldn't disappoint him. Leno was like a true comic. I'm here to help the comedians. I'm here to I'm open, and I'm doing road shows too.
Yeah.
And then never gave up. I love someone that doesn't turn their back on stand up. When they make it, they don't. They go, no. This is why I'm here. I'm only here because of this.
Yeah.
This is what I love. Seinfeld's that. All those people are that. That's why I love the guys that stick with it and they don't, and they die stand-up comics. If you meet Seinfeld, he doesn't go, I'm an actor from a TV show. He goes, I'm a stand-up comic. Leno's a stand-up comic. He doesn't go, I hosted Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Letterman, he doesn't say that. I mean, he's Letterman. He's like, I'm a TV talk show. I like the guys that stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, I never really watched Letterman, but I didn't really... I don't know. I always kind of liked Leno more, but I never subscribed to like, oh, it's cool to like Letterman. He's the more meta guy.
That was like very cool. I think it's very funny. I didn't watch it.
Conan kind of took that over as well.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like Conan thing, I always thought he was hilarious, but I always thought the interview was about Conan, no matter who he was talking to. And I thought it was kind of cool that Leno was like deferential to the guests. Like,
Yeah, Letterman would make it about Letterman, but in the funniest way. Like if he didn't have interest in a guest, he couldn't fake it. Like I remember.
well, then don't have him on.
Yeah.
I remember.
But I think that's why people liked it, because it was like watching
who's
like
Tom Cruise's ex-wife? When they first
Katie
started
Holmes,
dating,
or-
Katie Holmes. He
Yeah.
had her on the show.
Yeah.
Asked her some questions about Batman. He's clearly not interested, and then he goes, "All right, now let's talk about the real reason I brought you on this show."
Yeah.
And then he starts asking questions about Tom Cruise, and that's just such a funny like. Let's stop pretending we give a fuck about your movie.
Yeah, Letterman was very, very funny in that aspect of it. I just always thought everybody was so like trashing Leno. It was just always funny to be like, well, Letterman.
I think they saw him as a sellout because he used to be absolutely hysterical, and then they saw him as like more of a corporate shill, if you will. He's like,
But who's not going to take a Tonight Show job?
Say again?
Who's not going to take the Tonight Show
I wouldn't
job?
do the Tonight Show now.
Well, now, I mean, this is when Tonight Show is the biggest thing on earth when he takes it.
Right.
So, but like, if someone offered you a talk show on something, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just so different now.
Yeah, it's different. But yeah, I mean, there's just certain.
You said you wouldn't do Netflix either, and you did that.
I'm a liar.
So maybe you would. Do
I'm Hippocrates.
Yeah.
I'm
right now, you're gonna
100%.
end up hosting the Tonight Show.
Would you do?
Because you get. Is that how you get stuff? You're like, I would never do.
Yo, Nate, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
This is how it works, bro.
Yeah, I know. Y'all edit that out. I'm not even in the picture anymore.
No, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, it's okay to want somebody to continue being the comic that you like them as. Like, for example, a lot of people like you because you're clean, and then all of a sudden you flip and you go dirty. There might be people who go, yo, why the fuck is he dirty? And then you might defend it by being like, look, I got a show on fucking HBO. They wanted me to be dirty, and then now I got to be dirty now. And they'll be like, all right, well, I'm allowed to not like you because you changed who you are.
Yeah.
I liked you for this reason. You're no longer that. So that's why I don't like you. And I think that was the relationship with Leno to a lot of people. I never knew him as a stand-up before that.
Yeah.
Right? But I heard he was fucking killing. Murder. Yeah, that's the stories always.
Yeah.
And like, I weirdly love him for the car show. I watch hours of his car show on YouTube. He became a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing transition. He went from the Tonight Show host to a fucking YouTuber.
Never spent his Tonight Show money was what they always say.
Yeah.
Live off his stand-up money and then just put that somewhere.
It's pretty wild.
Wild.
I don't know. I always like, but I'm okay with people like changing their tune on someone if that person changes who they are.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm fine with that too. Like if they want to, that's why you want to stick to what you do. Like there's too many times where, you know, I remember like Howard Stern would always talk about that with Napoleon Dynamite, with him, that actor.
Yeah.
But being like, yeah, go do that again, man. He's like, no, I'm not doing that now. You're like, well, that's why we like you. And then
because that's the thing, like that's what he was.
Yeah.
Like that was such a random occurrence that guy ended up playing himself. Mm-hmm. Like, so, I don't think he wrote the fucking movie, right? He was just the actor.
Yeah.
But somebody wrote a movie and then there just existed that human being. And then he, like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not often you just write a random kind of borderline spectrum, well, it's definitely spectrumed out character, and then they exist, and then they fucking murder it.
Yeah.
But if that's who you are, you can't really change that. Like, he's not going to go be in a fucking drama.
McLovin he wasn't McLovin again. And now where's McLovin?
Yeah,
I don't even know his name. He's McLovin.
He's McLovin.
Isn't that weird though that like that happens? Like you have these characters, they get typecast, and then like they do like a few movies, and then they fall off, and people are like, yeah, he's done. And it's like, no, they were like the star of movies. Like that's really
They're just
awesome.
in movies.
Yeah, like how many people are in film? Like the Stifler character was so fucking funny. Do you know what I'm talking? Like he was just he like curated this character out of nowhere. He just made this up. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
He just invents this character. It's incredible. It makes us laugh in all these different movies, and then it stops making us laugh, and then his career's over. But like, he's not some loser. Like the guy was a fucking superstar for a little bit.
Well, that's how we talk about Sandler. You're like, Sandler just does him.
I love it.
Like, and then he goes into, he did Uncut Gems, and he's done a couple like other kind of crazy things.
Every
but, like,
once in a while, lets you know he can act. He'll do one of the like.
He's great. Just like a little nod. That's like just wearing like a real nice watch. Where you're like, I'm doing all right, dude. Don't worry. Like you got like a t-shirt on, and they're like, is everything okay? You're like, look, I'm all right.
Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Don't worry about what's going on over here. All right, I'll pay for this. Like he does like that kind of thing, but he builds his own.
Yeah,
that's what's great. It's like it is with what you're doing here and the new kind of way is like. It is like you're building your own world. You can't wrap your head around where you go start going like, all right, if I start, you know, you think about that sometimes where you're like, with specials and all this, you're like, well, if they're here to see my special, like, how do I you got to get everybody to switch.
Yeah.
But if you're like, well, what if I did do this? But you do it, you're like, I'll put it out myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's my thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, not saying I'm doing that, but it's like, I was always a mainstream guy.
Yeah.
So I was very, I never did good. Like I'm still not going to this rock venue. Like I needed my audience. Like it was like, it needs to be the main comedy club in town.
Yeah.
Like they were never going to find the other club.
I mean, they will. They'll go wherever you go. But like, I subscribe to that too. I don't want to do comedy in a comic book store. Yeah. I want to do comedy in the place that it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
You're coming into my home. That's how I feel at a comedy club. I feel like it's my home.
Yeah.
And you're a guest.
Yeah.
If I go do like the weird offsite thing, I feel like I'm a guest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like it being my home.
Yeah. Do you like theaters?
Yeah. I love the sound. I love the behavior. I love like that. And like when you first walk on and there's 2,000 people, you're just like, what is this? Like, what is happening?
It's show business. It feels the most like show business. There's union guys. There's all this kind of thing. It's people are signing. I've talked like you always feel. We talked about like an imposter feeling. Like you ever when you go on, you feel you're like, who are these people here to see?
No.
You know they're there to see you.
No, I don't have. Yeah, that is something I haven't struggled with in entertainment. But I hear a lot of people talk about that. But I don't. I've only struggled that with fame, not with
going
entertaining.
On stage. Yeah.
So like initially getting some fame early when I did the MTV stuff, I felt like I had to be funny, like I was on the show, to a stranger to justify where I was. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable enough with it. But the idea of like going up and entertaining a group of people in the way that like I'm not lying about who I am. Like who I am is who I am. So it's not going to be a surprise. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's New York. It's like
good for him.
But like I'm not lying.
I'd be
to
getting
you.
that shit for club
New York
sets.
is like.
You know what I mean?
I think that
I'm
is
not
a
lying
New York.
to you. This is who I am.
No.
You know.
But I think it's like it's funny. Is like. It's the personality of. I wonder if like being a New Yorker, like that's y'all are very confident. I think like when you like you're very. You're just yelling.
From the biggest pond, I think.
Well, there's a confidence to it that's like you're from there, dude. Like you're not like it's not like someone's like I live there. You're like, yo, dude, I'm from here. Yeah. Like you grew up there when it was terrible, and like and it was like so there's like a there's a different.
I also do think about this with home turf, and I said this to you a couple of times. Like when I've been in New York for like 13 years now, so it's a little different. But before, when I would go back to Dallas, I feel so confident, dude. I grew up here. I know this. This is my fucking any show here is like, bruh, I know this shit. I'm so confident. And this is not to take away from your work ethic or talent or humor in any way, but being able to grow up in New York is another advantage in addition to everything else you do. You're like, yo, I know this place. This is my place.
I think it is a huge advantage. I think that I've always looked at comedy as like this combination of like extreme confidence and extreme insecurity, and like the insecurity drives your ability to get better, and the confidence has to be enough where you feel like the things you say should be said out loud. Yeah, because there'll be times I remember like it's always at the Strip for some reason. Like I'll be at the comic strip, and then I'll be like waiting to go on, and I'll be like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
Like why am I like
at the strip?
What is this? Like why am I? And I love the strip. I actually love performing the strip. But like for whatever reason, every once in a while I have this, and I'll be like, why are we talking to people? Like what is this art? Yeah. Like that I just go on stage and I say things.
Why is this funny? Why are they laughing?
No. Not necessarily why are they laughing. Like why is this a thing?
Why does this exist?
Why does this exist?
People pay money to go watch someone make them laugh.
It's the I guess art version of when you say a word enough and it just doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah.
It's that for the art. Like what is this thing that we are doing right now? And why does this exist? And then you'll go on stage and you'll just get into it and all of a sudden it makes sense. But I'll have those like little feelings. But I think that insecurity, like I have to be my harshest fucking critic. I have to be like, that fucking sucked. You can be better at that. You can get more efficient with your words and all that kind of stuff. But I have to be confident enough where I should say it. Because I think a lot of people, I was talking about a buddy of mine this weekend, like he never even imagines himself having people who support him. So he's not even trying to solve the problem of how to get his stuff out to them. He's trying to solve the problem of, is my stuff even worth it for them to listen to?
So he wouldn't even put it out.
Exactly. Like you knew you were going to be you. Yeah. You're a humble dude, but you also knew you were going to do this.
Yeah, so, you have a confidence that's like, that you know, and you have to.
I'm talking about you specifically.
Oh,
like I'm wrong to say that you imagined this going kind of like this. Like
but I always said I wanted it, but I never let my dreams or goals, I never let them get too far from where I was at that time. So I never wanted anything too far. I never wanted to be like right now I can tell you I want to be able to sell out the Madison Square Garden. I want to. But when I was younger, I never let myself get too far because the farther your dream was or goal was, the harder
you feel like you're failing.
it's too, you can't reach it. I'm handing out flyers.
Yeah.
So it's stupid to go, one day I'm going to be selling out the garden. Well, there, you know how many steps there is before you get to that?
Yeah.
I'll never get there because it'll get too daunting. But if I'm handing those flyers out and I go, I don't want to have to stand on this corner. Well, that's something I can get. And so then once you get it, then you just keep doing, then you're like, I don't want to have to stand at the door. I want to go up. I want to be able to go up whenever I want to go up. I want to be able to walk in, the biggest thing, especially for us New York comics, is popping in. That, like, everybody always did that to us, and all you think is, and I remember, like, when comics would get mad, they're like,
what are you mad about?
Why are they popping? You're like, how do you not just want to do that?
That's the goal.
Like, you're like, that's the goal. You're like, yeah, dude. Like, I look at when Chappelle comes in, you're like, I want to be Chappelle. I want to be able to walk in and go up.
That's the reason there's 3 shows.
Yeah.
Because they never know who the fuck is going to pop in. Yeah. It's not for us.
Yeah.
I never had resentment about that.
Are that Chappelle just walked in, as opposed to you?
I never understood it. But I hear what you're saying, though.
Yeah. Keep goals. I always think that
I would compartmentalize. I'd almost treat it like college. Like, when I go to college, like, I want to graduate, but at the same time, I understand I have to take this class right now.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing for this amount of money.
And your goals change. What's interesting is, like, comedy's very competitive.
Yeah.
And so you're first, you hate everybody that gets everything. You're mad about everything. And then you just watch those names kind of go away.
Yeah.
So then your competition, you're just watching it kind of change. You're like, it's at the beginning, it's so many people. And then you get confident and you get comfortable, go like, I know I'm kind of past that point. And then there's a new group. And then there's a new group. And so you just kind of keep rising up and you start going like, like, who you're trying to get above gets smaller. Like, there's not that many people that you're like, now you're looking at it going like, all right, like, I'm going after 8 guys or something now. Yeah. Versus I was before.
You think it was small? Like, even New York, I would look at it, I'd be like, well, how many guys are funny? I know this sounds crazy, but, like, if we're being our honest selves right now.
I know,
like,
but everybody was getting stuff. I'm just saying you would know that, like, if you didn't get something and someone else did, you're like, you're kind of mad at everybody getting stuff. No, yeah, dude, I think no one's funny.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like, how do I be funnier than these few people that I think are hilarious?
Why are they getting that and I'm not?
I never worried about the getting shit.
Oh, I did. That's
but
what
maybe
I
got some stuff. I mean, I was upset that I wasn't getting stuff in stand-up, but I was like, I knew how to get it. I was just not going to sacrifice what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know if I do what I want to do.
Well, y'all got MTV.
I got MTV early. I just never got anything in stand-up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know what to do to get it. Like, I saw what the guys are doing to get it. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. And I know that this is what a large group of people want. So I'm going to find a way to eventually get it to them. I didn't know what the fuck it was. But, like, I knew eventually they'll see it. Because the proof is in the pudding. Like, you get to go up. You get to go up with the guy that got the thing you didn't get, and you get to follow him or go before him.
Yeah.
So you know what time, we all know what time it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, everybody could talk the shit, but at the end of the day, it's the same stage.
Yeah.
And we're all going to go up.
Yeah.
And we know who's going to be funny.
So you mean like a Tonight Show, you would be like...
Never cared about Tonight Show.
Okay, but as an example, if you wanted the Tonight Show, and you're like, we're all over here auditioning to get on the Tonight Show, you looked at it as like, well, I'll figure a way to where then the Tonight Show is going to invite me on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're going to go, you're like, it doesn't matter how I get there, I'll get there through another
What would the best version of me on the Tonight Show be? Okay, I'll find a way to do that.
Yeah, it's like sitting down on being a guest to panel.
Because I would see guys and I'd be like, oh, Nate is going to murder on the Tonight Show, because I think we've even had this conversation, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Because when Nate goes on the Tonight Show, he's going to do jokes that are going to be similar to when people see him after watching him on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And then I'd see guys that I know fucking murder, then go do this like neutered version of themselves on the Tonight Show. And I was like, well, I don't want them to see.
I don't want that.
And I said to myself, I was like, I'm not doing the Tonight Show unless I organically have 5 minutes that happens to be clean enough for the Tonight Show and works.
Yeah.
And if I organically have it, I'll start to put it together and cut things here and blah, blah, blah. I'll sew it together. But I'm not going to force it for this thing that I don't really care. Like, I don't watch fucking the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I always looked at it. But I had the guys that I thought were brilliant for different reasons. And they showed me what I was lacking. And they showed me the things that I needed to improve on. And I would just have hyper focus about that. And it could be like skill things. It could be personality things. It could be tone. Like, you know how guys, like you were saying earlier with like Bert, like he set the tone in the fucking room. I would always focus on who changes the room.
Yeah.
Who changes the fucking energy in the room?
Yeah.
When I walk off, I want the energy to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it's like that's when they don't know. When they don't know you. There's nothing better when they don't know you, and then they're like, "What was that?
What the fuck?"
That's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something about.
And you still have it now even though when people come to see you, because you're always going to get compared to really the kind of how they found you.
Yeah.
So for me, like the Tennessee Kid on Netflix is like, I'm always kind of compared to that.
Yeah.
And so you got to be better.
One of the cool things about stand-up though, compared to, well, I guess maybe music is similar in this regard, but like I can listen to an album or like a song and I can just love the fucking song and I think it's amazing, right? Stand-up, if you're killing in person, is always twice, 3 times, 4 times as good.
Oh, yeah.
So like if they see the special and they're laughing, they don't even know what's going to happen in person. Like they don't, you know what I mean? It's,
when you're murdering in a crowd, you know, when you can hear them doing so good and it's early, you're like, dude, I'm not even to my good stuff.
Yeah, we can warm
and you're like, but there's nothing. That's like the only time like I'll like, it's like you kind of come out of this, like you kind of start laughing or smiling on stage because you're like, I can't believe this is doing this. Like you can believe it, but this crowd's so good. And then you're like, dude, I am murdered. Like you just feel it. And it's an amazing, that's why the musicians want to always be, there's always that they want to be comedians and comedians want to be rock stars. Because I want to feel what it feels like to, I don't know. Music always makes me, I'm a little annoyed with it because they get a, you know, they can just write one song and.
Yeah, I have no interest in being a rock star, but I can see why they'd want to be us.
You want to feel it. I would want to feel the crowd of like, you know, you watch those videos like where they're singing the song back to them, and you're like, that's pretty wild. Like,
yeah, and you did the song one time, and they want to hear it 1,000. I do a joke one time, you hear it once, you're like, go fuck yourself.
That shelf life is so short for stand-up. When we were in Nashville, we wrote a country song.
Yeah.
Right. And with some like super talented guys, like Jelly Roll, and there's a guy, I don't even know if we're allowed to say his name on it, but he's like a, you know, like a really established kind of like country guy.
So,
And when I went up and did shows at West Palm Beach, we like play the song. It's like a fun song, and the fucking crowd knew the song. And as I was going on stage, and we all sang like the last thing, and I was like, "Oh, this shit is different, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's a different thing." Now I've also went up with that song and nobody knew the lyrics, and that's worse than bombing. That is fucking painful, dude. Yeah. But when they know it,
it's cool.
I mean, think how cool Happy Birthday is.
Yeah.
Like, even when it's not your birthday, when you're singing somebody Happy Birthday, everybody's on it.
Singing it. Yeah. Yeah. It is but I do get how that could probably get, it's not the same as, because laughing is, you know when they're going to laugh, but it's always a little different. It's always a little kind of like, you know, you basically kind of know, you know where the joke is. So you obviously know like, I always think, I'll think that too, how crazy it is in my head that you write a joke and in my head, I could go laugh now.
Yeah.
And like, you're looking at a word and you go, I know once the last syllable of that word comes out, you all laugh. And that's so crazy to be like, making someone laugh is like not easy.
It's hard.
And like, to get it to go, I know now.
Yeah.
And like, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we get that feeling and we're in control. We're up there alone. You get no break. I always think that's always kind of weird. Like you never get like a moment. Like a drummer can just go pee. Like they're in the like it's crazy to be like a band. Can you imagine? Like just if you're like a drummer could be like, I ran to Walgreens real fast and grabbed something. And you're like, you did? You're like, yeah, no one even knows I'm back here, dude. Like it's
Yeah. But you know what? Stand-up is also unique in that like a song is the song. Like you're going to sing the song, it's going to crescendo where crescendo is like, you can manipulate it a bit. Like obviously with jazz and stuff, you can like stay in a moment. But like with stand-up, if you like hit a chord, like you get to just like keep your foot on it. Like I'm going to tag, and I might never do this joke like this again, but I'm looking at people in the audience and they're getting laughed out. Like, you know. Oh yeah. And then you can keep
going. Yeah.
And that, I don't know what else that exists in boxing in the most brutal way. Right? Like, because
like once they get kind of, and then you just boom. Yeah.
But that I think is where we have, and that I guess only exists within comics that can kind of like separate themselves from the act a little bit, or the exact like words within the bit. But that is a special moment. Like seeing people like just keep on.
It's there's nothing better.
Yeah.
Nothing better. Making someone laugh. They feel, you know how good it feels to laugh.
Yeah.
Make them do that. It's, there's nothing better.
My mom would always say that. She's like, you're very lucky. I go, why? She goes, you do something ethical for a living. I go, what do you mean? I'm like telling Joe, like, this is stupid. I'm not a fucking like doctor or anything like that. She's like, yeah, but you don't have to feel bad about what you do. Like, you make people laugh and they'll like feel good. You're not some fucking savior or anything, but what you do will make people feel good usually. Yeah. And that's really lucky because it could be like an insurance, one of those guys that like sees if you get money back for your house or not. Yeah. You know, it's like, it was your fault. You left the door open for the flood. Yeah. You're going to get, like, that's someone's job.
Sorry. Yeah.
So.
We would make fun of that guy. Yeah. Why'd you leave the door open? You start trashing himself. Like, that guy comes to the comedy show just to get away. And then you're like, look at this idiot who got his house flooded. And he's like, this is the opposite of what I wanted.
Anyway, Nate, thank you so much for coming on, man. We appreciate you. We support you. Big fans over here. It's great to see what you've carved out for yourself.
Congrats to you guys, too. I love seeing you guys. You're building your own.
Thank you,
your own world.
It is. So check out Nate on all those places. And that's it. God bless, man. Chase.
Hey, buddy.